Sell in-game items at the best prices in just a couple of clicks. We are the biggest instant sell service for in-game items like Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, and Rust. Easy selling process and instant withdrawal of funds to the most popular payment methods. More than 140,000 deals and 50,000 active sellers every month. Use promo code HLTV5 and get a 5% bonus on the sale of your skins. Skin Place. Sell items now.
When every move counts, your chair shouldn't hold you back. Top esports players are switching to Anthros for unbeatable support and performance that keeps them in the game longer. Designed to support your unique shape and built with medical-grade components, Anthros is setting a new standard for comfort. Check out the Anthros difference today and get ready to fix your sit, because gaming deserves more than just a chair.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Counter-Strike fans across the globe, welcome back to another episode of HLTV Confirmed. I'm Chad Sponge Birchall. That's my name. Don't wear it out. We got Prof Professon and Striker Strikeman Strikes Last. And joining us on today's show, you all know him, you all love him. It is Mr. YEKINDAR. YEKINDAR, round of applause. You know, the people at home, they're on their feet, they're loving it. They're like, yes.
Thank you, guys. I've honestly missed it. Me and Lucas were talking about before the show a little bit. Like, when was the last time I was on the show? And I think it was Antwerp.
Holy shit.
Which is a long time ago. Yeah.
That would have been the live show, right?
And
that
you
was
were
the
like
first
live show that we did. You were fucking regular too. Like you did some of the Stockholm ones, right?
Yeah, I did Stockholm where we were sitting on the couch where I was like doing the fire thing, like you remember?
yeah.
You did Katowice as well after that, which was like without audience as well. I think, right?
Yeah. I did, and I think I was maybe in the audience in one of the Dallas or whatever. But honestly, I was depressed for the last 1 year. So
now look,
I think that explains everything. Like, we don't really want to like put you in front of a camera or anyone, you know, when shit's going bad, it just doesn't really work for anyone involved. Just bad. So, you know, we had a little break, but now things are going better. So now you're back. Nice to have you back.
I do want to get stuck into that stuff. So I want to do not an extensive history. I don't want to be like, you know, the city that you grew up in, everything like that. But I do want to go back a little bit and then shift forward, because I have like my version of how things unfolded, and I'd love to hear from you to fill in the blanks and let us know like kind of how it went from your perspective. But before we get there, I need to quickly thank our lovely sponsors. That's Anthros. The beautiful chairs we're sitting there right now. I got my feet up. YEKINDAR's using them at all the events he goes to for ESL. He's loving it. Also, Skin Place. Buy ourselves skins. Head over to Skin Place. All right, we're going to be doing Skinionaire later. It's in the YEKINDAR part. I'm sure it's going to have to be about YEKINDAR, but we'll wait and see. Okay, sponsors. Done, dusted, covered. Today's show, 2 hours worth of talking. We're going to go a little bit in depth with YEKINDAR, talk about things that happened during Liquid, talk about things now with FURIA, and setting our sights to the rest of the season. And kind of, I want to look at things as well, Max, through your eyes with the VRS. We'll get to that, you know, what it means to you, weigh up the tournaments, et cetera, et cetera. But for now, let's get down to business, as a wise man once said. Now, post Antwerp, when you were last on the show, you were then benched from VP. Do I have that correct?
Yes.
Okay. That was in June of 2022. And then within a month, you were on the Liquid roster standing in for one of the marquee events, IEM Cologne, alongside of Elige, Nitro, OC, NAF, Daps as the coach.
Yes.
Things started pretty well. You were touted by the team. He's the savior. He has all of the knowledge in the Counter-Strike world. He is teaching us poor Americans who don't know how to play European meta, and YEKINDAR will take us to the promised land. I have a quote from Daps here. I played with a lot of players in my career, but the fact he's standing and he's already taken charge to an extent, and he's teaching the guys a lot. I'm learning a lot from him, and we're just combining the style he used to play with how Liquid was playing before. We're kind of just meshing it together, and it's working out so far. So in the early days in Liquid, you were kind of bringing them the holy grail of info. Is that kind of what was going on?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it the holy grail of info or whatever, but definitely I was talking a lot with James and a lot of theorizing or whatever, and definitely there were newer perspectives that maybe at that time people did not necessarily think about, and they were relying a lot on playing on the feeling or whatever, and that was not something I was coming from at that time. And I showed them like, hey, let's try like this, let's do like this, and then we actually started doing good results. So maybe for them, yeah, it was something to
No feelings in James Counter-Strike. We all know that.
a lot of feelings, but only when you're in the inner circle.
Okay, well that's the thing. I remember I watched a video that James did with you. You guys were in Katowice, I think it was. So it must have been at a Kato, and it's in Russian. But I like watching some James content, and I think he had subtitles for it. And watching you guys talk Counter Strike, it's one of the things. You joined me on a round table just at Cologne, just gone, and we did some talking Counter Strike there. And you're always quite liberal with the way you talk about the game, even publicly. Like I'm sure there's a lot that you don't talk about publicly, but you give more than most would. Like you were talking about the veto of how things were going to go down in your playoffs game. We're talking about like you were talking with Bit about Mirage, and you were like, no, I really like their Mirage. You're talking about the Mongols and like their second and third timings and stuff. So when you say, you maybe don't bring them all the info, but you definitely help them. What were we talking about then? Are we just talking like set reactions, like a protocol? Like what level of things are we talking about?
Well, first of all, I just love the game. I live and breathe the game. I spend all my time thinking about the game. I have dreams about the game and everything, right? And when you have this kind of addiction, you start theorizing and think like in the free time when you're not playing and you're thinking about the game. Well, you're usually thinking about situations. You're thinking about what doesn't work in the team and how can you help it so it works. How can everybody understand and be on the same page and whatever. And at that time in Liquid, I think the most important thing was the system. That was something that was missing, especially I don't remember if there was the drop grenade feature in Liquid during that time in Liquid yet, where CS added it. So maybe it was the end of VP. I'm not really certain.
No, that was not even CS. Wait.
Yeah, it was a CS2 feature, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
was it a CS2 feature?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so like there was no even system about like who would be having like the end game nades, which saves a lot of like misunderstandings, and people don't necessarily need to know some specific nades that they're gonna use like once in a while, So it was freeing up a lot of like space in everybody's heads when everybody understood their own role in the game, on the map, and in the team. I think I actually talked in Shanghai with one really nice coach. I'm not gonna say who. I honestly I think I can say it. It was Cyclone, super cool guy, and he said to me like, I was kind of lost at the end of the Liquid in myself and my own role and my own responsibilities and whatever. And he kind of said to me that like, he for example doesn't believe that like in the kind of versatility of the players and whatever. Yeah, some players are versatile more than others, but everybody needs to know the role in the team to kind of to understand, And I think why FURIA right now we're more on the uprise, even though we lost the Liquid in the Blast Bounty. I think we started learning, especially after the break, our roles. We just understood like who has what responsibility, who needs to do what in game, and players are sacrificing, and the players who are sacrificed for, they are performing.
Bro, I was just checking. Yeah, it was 4 years ago that it was added.
Right?
Jesus
it
Christ.
Feels so recent. I did the same thing.
Like
Operation Riptide.
I don't know.
September.
I guess I just like
21.
Combined it with like the smoke.
So it was. So it was right already.
Yeah, it was 2021.
Yeah,
it was like end of 21.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily remember the details. So that means like okay, we would have just one players throwing the endgame names as usual, like the oppers, for example, or like the supporters who would be throwing the endgame utility. So other players can focus on like other stuff. So we were kind of dividing with the system that we were kind of creating responsibilities. And I feel like that was very, very vague when I joined. Like we didn't necessarily understand whose responsibility is what side of the map or what everybody needed to do. And as soon as you kind of systemize that and everybody understands their role, that's when results started kicking in. I believe we started with Cologne and we made it instantly to playoffs. And I was actually laughing. You remember that with the Mongols podcast, or like not the Mongols podcast, with Alexei and Bit
Yeah.
at the round table, that like, hey, like we are the only ones in history who lost quarterfinals to Movie Star in Cologne. And that's pretty funny. But yeah, honestly, like we played for a week. Before that event, we were able to qualify for quarters, and since then, I think there was many great tournaments. Like we made finals, almost beat Vitality in EPL back then, and then we made like Blast Four finals into the second place, lost against Mondesi G2. We made quarterfinals in Kato, or semis in Kato. I think both Katos that I played in Liquid, we actually made playoffs. One of them was quarters and the other one was semis. So it was like definitely, I wouldn't consider those bad results. And people, I feel like sometimes are a little bit over exaggerating that like all my time on Liquid was trash,
horrible,
and horrible and whatever. But you know, people have recency bias, and obviously the last year, and I think starting from after Paris, when we switched. When Elige left and Nitro left, and when we started getting Patsy and Rainmaker, and there's a lot of stuff, background stuff about it as well that I honestly don't necessarily want to disclose, but it's like orgs don't have infinite money to buy out every player people imagine, right? So you have to go with somebody, and then we went with Patsy Rainmaker, and that's the IGL history of me. Where honestly, I was a complete ass. Like in terms of, I don't think I was a bad IGL, and I would definitely want to be an IGL in the future. Since I also saw Nico saying this, I'm gonna say this as well, just so people trash talk me as well. But I was just a terrible leader. Like I was a young kid who wanted to win so bad that I could not hold my emotions back. And when you have young players, like I had OC, Patsy, Rainmaker, and like Keith is a little bit older, yeah. But when you have these young players, you have to be an example for them, and that was definitely not. I was definitely not the example that I should have been during that time. And obviously, since then, like everything else is recency bias. Everybody remembers the fucking slump of YEKINDAR. But yeah,
I think one of the things I was curious about, right? And you've just named a couple of players, and I'll get the list of names out. But there was, because the Liquid period of time also feels like, oh, you were there. It was kind of short. It was actually quite long. It was a couple of years, right?
2.5 years, yeah.
Yeah. So within that time within Liquid, there was Elige, Nitro, OC, NAF, Rainwaker, Patsy, Skulls, Katie, and Twist, JKS, Ultimate, Daps, Mytha. And that's like the list of players right now. People, like you said, are going to remember some of them as the bigger failures, like the Patsy Rainwaker situation, and then it was kind of like holding on to life support, like the Cadian thing. I don't know how much of that type of stuff is public, but I've heard heaps behind the scenes, lots of clashes going on there in that period of time. But just sticking with you for a second before we get into that more modern stuff, I remember it was the Rio Major. And the YEKINDAR that was like on VP, who was like the face of the team, when you could, because you had the best English and you're a great talker and you talk a really like solid Counter-Strike game, you'd always be like quite bubbly. And then within Liquid, it felt like, you getting labeled as the guy kind of bringing all the knowledge across. And then, you had this expectation from the way you were able to entry frag and everything in VP. Then you find yourself in this Liquid jersey. It starts pretty good, but then you have some more results that maybe don't live up to the expectation of the Liquid name. Then I remember going to do interviews with you, like maybe the lobby or something like that. And to be fair, you're a human being like everybody else. You could just be having a shit day, right? But the YEKINDAR that I know always
or a shitty year,
right? It felt like you'd gotten beaten down a little bit, and you didn't want to kind of converse with the media, right? Like you didn't want to be that same guy, because it felt, from my perspective, it felt like you got punished for being you, right, by the public. Yeah,
honestly, like. Now I'm more mature, and I talked this in the interview I gave on the HLTV, the long one after the Austin Major, where I actually, before Shanghai, before maybe even Singapore, I went and Liquid gave me a great opportunity to visit a specialist, a neuropsychologist, where he completely changed my cognitive understanding of the situation of whatever I'm thinking, how to deal with it and everything. Right now, I feel like something that helps me a lot is like I don't think about it anymore. What was bothering me during the slump, and of course, like during that time, yeah, I'm playing shit. I have my own enough problems, and then I also have to do media, and I know people are gonna fucking backlash me on Instagram or wherever they can get a chance, and why would I do media if it doesn't matter what I'm gonna say? Everybody's gonna label me as like, oh, you're playing shit. You have no rights to talk, or kind of like that, you know. So that was a period where obviously I didn't want any media presence, and I was focusing just on myself and coming back. It was I feel like the biggest problem was not necessarily the media or anything during that slump. I think the biggest problem was inconsistency in terms of like the team, and the second biggest thing is confidence. So as an entry fragger, you don't see an entry fragger who's playing like shit, who is confident, you know. Like entry fraggers have to be confident to do their jobs, and eventually, like because of many changes, like if you think about it, half a year we have a change, half a year we have more changes, half a year the completely system changes, a new IGL, new everything, right? And when you're thinking that okay, we're starting to get somewhere, then changes happen, boom, 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 and whatever, and that's why you just feel that like every time you're thrown in a different direction, and different philosophies, and everything like that. And yeah, of course, the media didn't do well in terms of like confidence, or like not necessarily the media, fans maybe, who were constantly talking trash and whatever. But right now, I feel like I'm a person who kind of got a shell after all this after this year.
Do you just kind of shy away from that now? Like in terms of, we always talk about players who like decide to just shut off all the social media. I know they stop talking to people because they know that it comes with bad, comes with good all the time, right? So some people shut off, some people just build more of a resistance to it. Which camp are you in?
I was in both. I shut off everything first, and eventually when I started feeling a lot more confident during Shanghai. That was my, I feel like, uprise event where I felt I'm on the right direction, and there I was already happier. I started enjoying life a lot more, and enjoying the game a lot more, and that was the period where I kind of started coming back a little bit into the media. Then there was this FURIA first events where I came back to the event and everybody's saying like, oh, we've missed you, like, like this, and it kind of gives you even more confidence. And then slowly but surely you start getting back to the kind of routine of like, hey, like, I don't have a problem talking to you, like, or to you or whatever,
Yeah, I think another example in that recent time of someone who got like hit with that type of stuff was like Rops with the car situation, Well,
that is still the most
it.
ridiculous thing to this day that I've seen the community do, man.
But this is the thing. Like one of the things I always look at is we're still connected, and probably this Nico example is another one, right? He did the stream and said some things, and then like there's fucking posts like taking his quotes and stuff. And it's like, mate, why should I do anything ever if there's going to be this fanfare? But that's the thing. Like Counter-Strike is reaching this point now where there is so much noise and chatter in the background, and people care a lot because they really like these players, or they want to see these players play well. Or sometimes people are just shit people, and they're having a bad day and they lash out. Like social media is one of those things. I fucking hate it, right? Like I had back when I was a player, I deleted my Twitter. I couldn't fucking stand it, mate. Like I hated that shit, and I was a dog shit player. So like, that probably some of the comments were warranted. But yeah, it's one of those things. And a reason I wanted to go through this questioning, because I hated to see you kind of be like that, because I could kind of guess how you'd feel. And that sucks. Like it sucks.
I feel like we lost, like your character was kind of lost. Like this is who you've been, like since the first, even before we knew who you were. Like your stupid video of doing like a barrel roll onto a stage in Latvia or whatever. Like that. This is the personality of the guy, and then you get just beaten down by the reality of life and the social media and fans and all of these things.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I take it as a lesson, in my life. I take it as a great experience. I felt like it made me much stronger as an individual, and obviously looking back to it and remembering how it fucking feels terrible. But now I'm feeling amazing, and even something like that is never gonna turn me down again.
Nice.
By the way, breaking news. Nico finds out he's a celebrity. I mean, for him, of all people, he's like 10 years into doing it. He just runs the stream and thinks nobody's going to think anything of him saying, yeah, I'm going to AGL at some point in the future. Like, as if that doesn't matter.
Well, look, let's jump forward now, right? Let's get into the present day, right? And maybe a little bit of the just recent past. But so you end up getting benched from Liquid, and then you're not on the bench for long. And then you find, yeah, that's, mate, 4 months. Like, must have been a good 4 months. What were you doing in that time?
First of all, no.
There was a hesitation there.
No, I'm gonna
I would have loved to know where your mind went.
No, the thing is, first of all, I was actually playing. I was grinding face until 7th of January, approximately, plus minus, because I was actually in talks with a couple of teams of maybe possibly joining or whatever. And
Perfecto simple YEKINDAR team.
No, that's later. There was a couple more teams.
It was an IP rumor at some point. Just throwing that out there.
Well, I have a shit memory. I don't remember anything. No, but the thing is, it's like I was playing, and then okay, the offer that didn't go through, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to a vacation. I went. Where did I go? I went to Baku, Azerbaijan, with my girlfriend. Started kind of relaxing there, over thinking about my new stuff and whatever. And I came back home. And honestly, I didn't play CS for the first 2 months of the year after the Face It thing, and the second month I had 180 hours past the weeks in DayZ. I was constantly grinding DayZ. It was so fun. That was the first time I've opened that game. It was insanely fun. I was playing with my girlfriend. I was honestly, if right now CS is banned and like. Or like I get infinite money, I would just play DayZ again for my whole life. But it's actually super fun, and I felt like that gave me a lot of relaxation in a way, even though I was sitting by the computer and whatever. But eventually, on the second month, I understood that like only after a month of break, I understood how actually my body was exhausted. There was a lot of travel, a lot of stress and everything, and people can say whatever they want, but mental health is actually a thing, and not only like mental health, but also like your body and physical health and everything.
Every time I saw you at an event, you were sick for like 2 years, pretty much. You're like, I have a flu. I have like, it was constantly like whenever you recover, maybe like one event, next event, you're sick again. Like, so yeah. I think that's when you get to that point of like traveling and stuff, when you're like constantly sick, you're like, I don't like that. I need to do something about this.
Yeah, and the thing is,
not a good thing to.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like I was even taking all the supplements that I need and all the vitamin C and everything like that, but it was just like too overwhelming for my body at that point. And after those 2 months, after February, in March, I started playing CS again. I started playing Face It. I started streaming. I started having fun, getting my confidence back a little bit. And in April, FURIA reached out and they're like, "Oh, you want to stand?" And that was actually like the s1mple perfecto time, where I was like thinking of like actually starting to play and whatever, and that's when FURIA reached out, and we had in the s1mple perfecto thing, we had players that we wanted, but they qualified for a major, so we understood that like either way, like we have to wait until the end of the major, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stand in with FURIA, have some actual practical events, like, and maybe showcase myself. And yeah, it went kind of perfectly in a way.
Well, I think that's the thing, right? Because obviously top 8 at the major, the fact that like, you had a couple of events and you've had a couple of events since as well coming out of the player break, but it felt like it's revitalized a lot of pieces within that team. It's not that K-Serrato and Yuri like weren't delivering. Like Yuri probably was struggling a bit. K-Serrato always felt like he was delivering from his game. Fallen moving away from the AWP to rifle, bringing molodoy, who's been an absolute stud. And then you returning to the server, right, and finding impact within that role of what you're known for. It feels like, it couldn't have gone any better than what it did, unless it was a full like Cinderella run and you actually lifted the trophy at the end of the day. Like, as far as setting expectations go, I imagine that blew them out of the water, or did you guys already think, oh yeah, well, why the fuck not?
Yeah, well, when we qualified for playoffs in Astana, and we realized we have to go to Dallas with a full jet lag and play the same day against our first game in Dallas, I was like asking, like, okay, guys, did you not plan to make playoffs, or like what was the thing here? But honestly, they they probably feel they got the best outcome possible. Molodoy is a real deal, and then I'm playing good CS again, you know, and I'm happy it worked out but the main thing that I think why all of this is working, of course, Molodoy is fucking great, and he's truly honestly maybe a generation talent if he works hard and everything. But I think the roles just set into the right place, and that was what I was explaining with the Liquid thing. Is like everybody needs to understand their role, and when you have two sacrifice players, like for example me and Fallen, who can run in, and then you have Caserato and Yuri behind you, who can play those endgame scenarios, who can be in those clutches, and they know how to trade, and they know how to play as a second player, and of course Molodoy being a great. I've played with many oppers in my career, and I think the biggest difference with Molodoy as a young opper is he comes in. It's not like as an opper, just like give me the op, I'm gonna go and kill them and do everything. Yeah, he has those moments when he gets mad and whatever, and it usually works. But he's a very supportive / rotation opper, which his priority is to support the teammate first, and then rotate into the right position to catch kind of the reaction, which is something really cool because, for example, in Liquid and Ultimate was how can I? He was an opper who's like, okay, I want to do this, that, and it was always a little bit of a hassle with him, because it's like sometimes he needs to support and let the rifles kind of close out some of the scenarios and whatever. So that's why everything kind of just set at the right place. And bro, honestly, I think the biggest surprise is Fallen rifling.
Yeah,
honestly, like, okay, you guys, like in officials there's some glimpses of it, but I've seen scrims where he wins like a 1v5, 1v4, 1v3s, like with insane one taps with an AK, insane jiggles, donk slides, and all this shit, and I always spam 34 years old in chat. Like as soon as 1v3, 1v4 happens, I write 34 year old, by the way, like this. It's insane. Like we were always laughing that he's been playing the wrong role for 8 years. but yeah, the hardest part for him was the CT anchoring thing, and Yuri did a great job of. If you think about when FURIA first, we honestly switched almost on every map CT roles compared to our first roles that we were playing in Astana. Obviously, some of the roles Fallen had troubles playing, and Yuri was like, "Okay, let me play this role. You can have more space there. This role is a little bit more mechanical or technical or whatever you want to call it." And some of the roles, me and Caserato switched, and honestly, like for as well, for example, if people want to compare what roles I'm playing now and what I played in VP or in Liquid in terms of like T side, I'm playing completely different roles now. I'm a lot of like Caserato is doing good at the roles I've been playing before, so I've kind of gotten into these aggressive lurk roles.
With that, just curious. I see we get a bit geeky here, but with the way that the positions progress over time in the meta, right? Like map control positions, people start to respect it because the way that the T's get the map control is either so systematical or the counter isn't there. So putting a player like you on an extremity to then isolate like a 1v1, like kind of feels we've been shifting that way for a little while. Like it's we're not at a point where your best player needs to be your like first in entry fragger kind of guy for the map control, because he ends up turning into like a late round lurk.
Yeah, I think there's different concepts that you can play. For example, Spirit, they have pretty passive lurkers and very active core, right? And because you have Chopper and Donk taking space, and then when it's executes, for example, zweih is rotating in and Donk is trading on the executes and whatever. But for example, there's some teams, for example Na'Vi, where you have Bit, who's playing all these kind of extremity aggressive lurk positions, and that honestly, that's my biggest inspiration, because I was watching him very long time before I actually went to those roles, and it just inspired me how confident he is to take these 1v1s and how much he's limit testing on his positions, because, well, honestly, you can play every round and just wait for a push and never come, right? But if for example you throw in a two rounds where you're trying to take a 1v1 and if you get the kill, the round suddenly collapses for the CTs. That's something not many players are doing. I think Jabi is very similar as well, and sometimes it's gonna look silly, and it's just it is how it is. But I always preferred prefer getting maximum out of the position I can play, and limit test and practice these things, and yeah, I think it's very cool.
Do you feel this suits you more like than the roles you had before? Because like it is kind of weird to not see you like taking duels on banana or whatever. This is that classic position where we'd find you, but you seem to be finding quite a bit of success in the new roles as well.
Well, I think it depends on how much people are talking that are playing in that role. Me as a player, I'm naturally creating solutions for my side of the map. So, for example, in Liquid, when I was playing banana, we were a heavy B team on T side. Now, when I'm playing, for example, halls, well, now we're trying to balance it out because like we got to a conclusion that like, for example, we were playing a little bit maybe too defendant on banana, and that's why we were forcing ourselves a little bit more on A, for example, on Inferno, right? But we're now trying to balance it out. For example, on Dust 2, I'm the long player, T side, and we're going long a lot. And
you guys are doing the insta long corner smokes. That's so suffocating for the CTs, bro.
It's so cool. There's so many situations where I'm just faking long, and I hear them throwing like the defense smoke on middle of long, and I'm like, oh, guys, long clear, careful short, careful mid, careful crunch, like, and then it's just so much easier to play. But yeah, back to your question, I think right now I'm playing these extremity roles already for a year almost. Like, because in the later part of Liquid, I actually Justin moved in.
Yeah, you and Justin swapped some spots.
Yeah, me and Justin swapped because we didn't. Well, at least that's how I thought. Maybe they were just like, you can do shit. We just need to put him in somewhere else. But the problem was that we had two passive lurkers that would never that Keith and Justin, who unless you really tell them, they would not prefer to take some risk and take some space back. And that's why I started learning to play the lurker position. And it's also like because of space factor. People need to think about like the core. We had Ultimate, who always wants to go for something and want to take space and whatever. Russ, who was an IGL, who needs to see everything, and he also is a very mechanically skilled player, who like it would be sad for him not to take space and whatever, right? And then me, who's a very aggressive player. So our core was just too much ideas too hyper and whatever. Yeah, so we needed the switch, and now I feel like I'm starting getting comfortable in these roles, and I think it's cool. I think sometimes it's really cool. I'm saying always I'm playing a little bit more Ropsy this round, like so I'm a little bit more cheeky, a little bit more quiet and lurky, and like finding not necessarily going for timings, but just punishing if something happens. I think it's cool. I watch a lot of Robs. I think he's a fucking great player.
Yeah, he's moved away a lot from the being we were talking about earlier. You don't like being the lurk that's just always passive, doesn't really do anything, just like waits for mistakes. Yeah. That was Robs for some time, and then he started, taking a little bit more space as well.
And that's the cool. Like you can see his individual development, and I don't know if it's like a Vitality thing, an Apex thing, or is it like his own initial thoughts and whatever that he wants to change a little bit of his style. But I think it's super cool.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this, boys. Let's jump into Skinionaire, and then we can keep the questions flowing as we go. And again, we'll look at the season, everything kind of through YEKINDAR's eyes and get his view of things as we go. But let's jump into Skinionaire. I don't know what the questions are, Prof. Do you know what we're basing today? I assume it's about YEKINDAR.
It's FURIA based, actually.
Okay. All right, FURIA based. Who wants to be a Skinionaire? Brought to you by SkinPlace. Type SkinPlace in Twitch chat or Kick chat right now for your opportunity to enter the draw. It'll operate as your raffle ticket. That keyword again is SkinPlace. All right, 5 questions, multiple choice. How you feeling?
I always get so much stress from this because like the better I'm gonna do, the better Skin fans are gonna get, right? Or the viewers are gonna get. And I felt like previously I've lost on the second one once. It's like a $2.50 skin. Like, feels bad. Man,
It's the thrill of the game, and Striker can assist you along here. I don't think he knows the answers. I have two questions before we get into this, while I let everybody spam skin place. First question, Rush wants to know why you didn't accept his friend request, because you said to him in Cologne you'd play DayZ and he tried to add you to friends. So he just wanted to know.
Oh, I didn't see. I'm gonna add him. Add him.
All right. Second question. Did you guys have to adjust your connector molly much on your train B execute when they added that new box?
Yeah, about that. It's not necessarily about the B box, but about the barrels that are behind the molly.
Okay. Well, it needs to spread.
Yeah, it needs to go very deep, because we've died to it the last 3 times we were actually B executing, where the player is just on top of the barrels and behind the molly. You cannot see him at all. He's just killing you on lower.
I stole your inside execute for my face at Pugs, and the molly wasn't landing, and I was like, "Fuck, guys, we got to get back in the lab." All right, I've allowed people long enough to type skin plates. Let's get into this. Question number 1. When did FURIA enter the scene? Was it 2014, 2017, or 2020?
Okay, it's not 2020 for sure. I think it's 8 years, so I think it's. I'm maybe somewhere in the back of my mind. I remember that there's somewhere like the 8 years Instagram post that I skipped through real fast. So I'm really confident it's 2017. But if somebody has a hint, and okay, Striker did the good.
I think I like it for the same reasoning, because 2020 is too late, because we already knew FURIA from like 2018, 2019, right?
And 2014 is like NIP and Fnatic and everything, right?
That's
2017.
Early,
okay, yeah, 2017 then.
Locking in B, 2017. Correct answer is 2017. All right.
Yes, boys.
First one correct. All right, let's get into question number 2. That one was quite easy. Nice little table setter there. Who of the following was the only non-Brazilian player to be a part of FURIA before 2025? Was it A, Breeze, B, Junior, C, Stewart?
Like in Junior.
Poor Junior, man.
Easy.
Yeah, they always trash talk him.
Poor Junior.
To this day. No, I'm joking. I'm actually joking. I just know this answer.
He lived a good career. We'll see him in the future. All right. This is great. 2 from 2. Nice and easy one. Softballs, we'll say. Question number 3. Which of these players has never played for FURIA? Phelps?
Phelps, lock in.
All right. Damn. Okay. Did they make you do a test before you joined the team?
No, I played against Henny and Vinny in FURIA before when I was in EP, so I've had games against them. Henny and Art were fucking double opping on Mirage. Art was jumping down under every round, and Henny was opping on Ticket every round, bro. It was so hard to play.
I actually really liked that balance, because Henny was so good late with the AWP, like in clutches and stuff, and Art would just go, I'm just going to run in, get one, and die. And it's like, oh, fair enough. Like, yeah, it can work.
I think that was probably the idea as well.
Yeah. And then, yeah, that was a fun time. All right, question number 4. Man, we're flying through this. When did FURIA win their most recent international LAN? Was it A, 2018, B, 2019, or C, 2023?
Okay, this is a hard question. 2023 is definitely... Is this pandemic? No, 2021 is pandemic, right?
Man, at this point, we're getting the dates wrong about drop nades and everything. I was that was the pandemic.
Yeah, 2023, no. Because... I don't know why, but 2019 and 2018 I think it's possible, because there was, what did they win?
That's a great question. They're in a final of like a face it, but they didn't win it. I have a tough time thinking of FURIA winning anything.
There was some EPL NA, or something when it was happening. Was it a LAN? It was online, no?
That's international 2021 LAN. I think you're talking about.
I think
didn't
Striker
they play
needs
like
help.
an Alyssa or something?
Striker help
Think
2019.
more recent, Elisa.
2023?
Yeah.
2023 then. What was the LAN?
It was Elisa, right?
Alyssa Masters.
Aspu, I think.
Yeah,
What is
in Finland.
Elisa.
Yeah.
Yes.
They beat Apex in the final. Nork got the MVP.
I don't remember that LAN.
Yeah. It's all right. Look, I don't either.
Knock got them MVP.
Yeah. Miles was there. They finished 5th or 6th somehow.
All right. This will be the final question. The 5th and final question. Who's the longest standing member of FURIA? Is it A, Yuri, or B, Serato? Oh dear.
I thought they joined at the same time, to be honest.
That's a close call, but I'm pretty sure
it's a criminal question.
I'm pretty sure it's Yuri, but honestly, I have no clue, but my feeling is telling me Yuri.
Well, I think you
Wait, but Caserato is coming from FURIA Academy, no?
Oh, I don't know if that counts. So this is Dimitri.
I don't
quiz
fucking
that probably
remember.
doesn't count.
Follow your heart, as always.
Follow my heart. Okay, Yuri then.
All right, we're gonna lock in a Yuri. The correct answer is Jesus, that was the longest wait of my life
the heart
right there.
never lies.
I thought I timed out or something. That's how long we just waited. But 5 from 5, mate. You got some redemption since last time you did the quiz. So great job. You've just hooked up 2 people at home in Kick and Twitch with an extra question.
Bonus question.
Oh,
For
okay.
the Brazilians.
Okay. Oh, you've got the 5 from 5. The grand prize is secure. How many FIFA World Cups did Brazil win? Oh my God.
3, 5, or 7.
Well, all time, yeah.
Yeah.
That's honestly, I have no clue. Didn't fuck, man. That 5. I give answer 5. I'm following my heart, and my chat is my heart.
All right. I'm locking in 5. Correct answer is. Oh, it's flawless.
Oh.
I think we give you like a token of no value or something. Like you've nailed it, but we get, it's like a HLT. Oh wait, I've just reminded myself. Striker, I need to give that HLTV medal to someone.
Yeah, Lucas.
Oh my God, I completely forgot about it.
That's fine.
Anyway.
I mean, Lucas would remember. Don't worry.
Whoa, that just hit me like a fucking ton of lead bricks. Jesus, I thought I fucked up there.
Baby. Usually have those CD one or just like, red.
I just went I left the oven on and I'm on the airplane to like Australia or something. Holy shit.
That's totally.
Oh,
well, I have a question. When did you guys start doing the keycaps for like top 20?
2 years ago. So
I'm not.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I just saw Castrato having cool keycaps, and I was like, "Where's my keycaps?"
Bro always asks me when the next keycap is coming. He's on the keycap game, so who knows? I mean, you're playing pretty good this year. Is top 20 possible? I don't know. Not my expertise.
4-month break. I don't know about that.
All right, well,
gotta win some tournaments.
We gotta quickly shout out to the winners. Desert Fox. Is it Desert or Desert?
We can't.
I forgot. One of them has S. I think Desert Fox.
Yes.
It just and
Desert.
And Dessert, I always remember, has 2 S's because of sugar and sweet. Okay.
There you go.
Desert Fox 1339 on Kick and Ref Jews on Twitch. Lucky winners. Thanks to Skinplace. Thanks to YEKINDAR for getting it all right. And that's the end of Skinionaire. Someone said, is Chad serious? Yeah, guys, I'm an idiot. I don't know if you realize this. I was a plumber. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm just some fucking muppet. All right, guys?
Weren't you IGL in the Renegades?
Yeah, but you don't need to know how to spell. You just need to fucking know how much an AK head armor with utility costs. You don't need anything else. All right.
You're being paid to talk, so who cares, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you spell things. Okay. Let's keep it rolling, shall we? Okay, so how was
I
molodoy?
actually saw this first time this actually in the game. YEKINDAR Liquid is actually in the game. That's cool. You see under my name, there's like actually in the game. Oh, that's my new nickname on Steam. So
okay, yeah,
actually in the game.
Mate, I always wonder how much of the monitor you can really see. Like, it can't be a lot. You've got to be working on a tiny little box.
No, the thing is, my overview is very, very good. Like for example, you want because I know
you're so close to the radar.
I know there's a white wall here, and I know there's a yellow wall on here. And I see it with my eyes actually.
Okay, so he's a lizard person. We found the first one officially, everybody.
But honestly, I see everything on the monitor. The only problem for me sometimes is the kill feed and the radar. That's it.
Yeah, but we see you like glance a little bit back and look up. I just feel like fucking, for me, they're getting eye strain. Like, what's going on there, mate? But I wanted to ask, because you've played 2 big stages already, right? With this roster. You guys played the major in Austin, and then you played Cologne. And
Astana as well.
That's right. Yes, I can't forget Astana. That's so 3. And it seems like it's pretty quick integration for like molodoy up to that level. Was he nervous at all? Because he's not as young as he looks. He does look like he should be like 16, 17, but he's 20, isn't he?
He's 20, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so how's he going?
The thing is, people first of all need to understand it. Like 1 year ago, he joined Amcal, and this was his like kind of first HLTV professional tier 2 team or whatever you want to call it. And a year later, he joins FURIA. And for him, Honestly, I think Amkal, whoever was the coach there, or an IGL, and I know S-Fade was their IGL. He actually taught him, I think, a lot about system, and like we kind of got ourselves a kind of a little bit of a complete player in a way. Like, of course, there's details that he needs to fix and that he's focusing on now. Right now is getting out the face it mentality and like highlight mentality, and kind of giving a little bit of more of surviving and helping your team and whatever with flashes and etc etc. But bro, this guy's insane, honestly. Like, he's really good, and he always explains this like, I just have this feeling that the guy is there, you know. Like, I'm asking, like, how do you know? Like, it's just a feeling. Like, he cannot explain why the guy is there, you know, but he just has this like intuition and feeling, and that's very cool. About the stage pressure and whatever, well, I think when you start with like your home tournament with the arena full screaming your nickname like molodoy in Kazakhstan, like many people would kill for that opportunity in a way, you know. And I think there was maybe one against Spirit where he wasn't necessarily full confident or full comfortable, maybe a little bit nervous. But honestly, I was nervous. Like, after a 4-month break, I was nervous to play on stage. Like, especially like as well, like following Kasrat and Yuri, like everybody was a little bit nervous, you know. Like, they haven't played on arenas like that much lately, and we knew that we need to work on our stage mindset presence, or whatever you want to call it, of like dealing with a little bit of the pressure and whatever. And the more we get to play these quarterfinals or semifinals or whatever, the better we're gonna become as a team. And I think Mao's was a great example of like, we felt great during it. It was only really the third map that kind of slipped away from our hands. But honestly, Molodoy, amazing. When I went to stand in for them, I didn't even care who he was. I knew I just want to play a little bit of my game, like, you know, like have the opportunity to play these events. And honestly, he's been giving only great results individually, and in terms of like mindset as well, he's very confident and very good.
How good's your agent, man? I mean, this was a fucking masterpiece.
Honestly,
this is the most random idea. It's like, yeah, you guys are bringing this Kazakh guy. How about you get another like Russian speaker into the team? Huh?
Yeah, I have no clue how he decided to, like, oh, FURIA, great, it's gonna work out, you know. Like, I don't know, but he said, yeah, FURIA wants to talk to you, or I'm like, yeah, fuck it.
I mean, knowing the agent, I'm not surprised. He's quite an eccentric guy. I think that's the best way to describe it. Love chatting with him in Cologne as well.
Yeah, he's great.
I wanted to ask you specifically about the Falcons Dust2 game. Now that we're talking about Molodoy, because that's a game, and that's the CT half where he just went absolutely insane. How did that look from inside the server?
Yeah, I think the Falcons game was the game where Moldy felt off the most.
Okay.
Out of all the games we've played, I don't know what was it. Like, there could be many like things, like not enough sleep, not whatever, many things. And the first two maps, they were really hard, especially Mirage. We came up, we somehow took it out our ass, like that Mirage win and whatever. Caserato saved us two very important rounds, entering B, double kills. And third map, before third map, I don't remember who was it. I think it was either a coach, Sid, or Fallen, who took Moldy aside, and he said, like, now it's the Stu. They have to cross the doors, bro. Like that's what they said to him. And honestly, on the Stu, it felt completely different to play with him compared to the other maps, like in that series. And when we were rewatching the game, I was like, bro, this guy has balls, bro. Like, he peaks Monacy, minus 99. Monacy doesn't even shoot, starts falling down from boost, and Molody just repeaks it and kills him instantly on suicide. And I'm just like, during that game, I was like, okay, that's great. And the CT side against the Stu, oh, that was spectacular. I don't know if you guys know, but like in stressful situations or like stressful games or whatever, I'm kind of responsible for creating the plan or whatever, like understanding like how, yeah, exactly. CD side, how do we need to play and what do we need to do? But that half, I didn't say fucking shit. Like, it was just ideas flowing from everybody, and Serato and Yuri like, okay, rotate B this timing. I think we have a chance to push B. Moldo is gonna be like, I'm gonna play like this, rotate into this. I'm sitting back there, and I'm like, okay, guys, okay, I'm gonna throw a flash here. I'm gonna do this. Like I had nothing to do, and that's something before Cologne and before Fisher. What we understood after the break, after the major, we understood what we need to work on. It's our CT sides and getting it as least as possible reliant on my calls or somebody's calls, and be it like of course I can blind call like, let's push B this round, like mid round or whatever, or let's play like this, or let's play like this. But when the whole team is giving input and understanding on like what's happening on the map and how we can deal with it, that's something that completely changes the CD sides and elevates them to the next level. And before Fisher, we started practicing that, and Fisher was a no-go because Saul played, first of all, amazing, and second of all, we were in this transition after vacation where we're trying to implement new CT sides and new stuff and whatever, and we honestly just shit the bed individually. And then in Cologne, we started feeling good, and then G2 gave us a slap in the face in the stage 2, where after that game we actually spent like 3 hours and we're like, okay, we're missing this, we're missing that, we need more here, we need more here. And after that we just kind of, it started rolling, it started feeling nice.
I'm just having a sorry, go for it, Striker.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, watching Molodoy in that Dust2 game against Falcons, I'm like, he's not going to get away with this again, because he's like re-peaking so much that like any team that's going to see this will just prepare for it, be able to predict it, because you don't really see operas do this, because it is hard to do, because people are just so much better at punishing you, for re-peaks and all these things. And just, I don't know if it was Falcons just not being ready for it, and also Molodoy was fast as fuck. Like some of the second shots he hit, it was just impossible to react in time, basically, for the other guy on the other side. But I was like, he's not going to get away with it again. And then he does that again on the Inferno Inferno CT side against G2. And
G2,
Miles can't fucking punish him either. And you're like, how the fuck is this possible?
Yeah, he's very sharp, very good. And I think props as well to Sid. I think he's been giving him a lot of individual comfort, just being in a team. I think he's been spending a lot of time with him. Like, I can translate and all and everything, and I have good connection with him, but I'm not his mom or whatever to say to him what he can and what he can't do, And I think Sid has been a really great mentor for him in terms of like little details and how to do stuff and everything like that. And
I wanted to just bring up something which maybe I shouldn't put this out into the universe, but Astana playoffs. Dallas bombed out in groups. Major playoffs. Fisher.
Dallas doesn't count. Jet lag event where we came in.
You might like this though. You might like where this is going, YEKINDAR. Okay. Fisher bombed out in groups. Cologne playoffs. Bounty bombed out in groups. Up next, Open could be playoffs. Would you like that? Sacrifice one event for the other. It's making the playoffs of Cologne and the major. That's pretty good. And Astana.
Yeah, I mean that's the trend of of us right now. But the thing is, for me, the results, unless we completely shit the bed or whatever, the results don't really matter if we learn something and we try to implement something and we actually showed progress and everything. Like for example, Cologne felt, even though we lost against Mouse, but I felt like there was so much work done throughout the event, and so much evolving from everybody, from individually and as a team, that even after we lost against Mouse, I felt proud for the way we played this event. And if that's gonna be an event where we're gonna bomb out, for example, and we did our max and we actually evolved and we progressed, but it just sometimes it's not your day. Sometimes you're playing a 10 p.m. game against Liquid, where the third map is like 1 a.m. where your schedule is completely fucked up and you're tired and whatever. And that's all, like, of course, excuses, but everything matters when you're a professional esports player, And
online as well.
Yeah, the online part, maybe not enough. Like, the problem during that game was, if coming to that game, is we were not winning the rounds we were supposed to be winning. So
there's a lot of clutches in that game.
Yeah,
so there was like 10 clutches or something over the course of that game.
Yeah, exactly. So the rounds where you have to play tight, because you kind of you just hide. You don't need to do anything. Like you don't need to do anything. You just hide and like play to the max to win the round. Maybe there's like the bomb planted already and the timer is running out, or like these rounds, which are very important for the future of the half and for the tempo of the game and everything. When we don't close out these rounds, that's when the game just becomes a complete misery. And we've been focusing a lot on that, because that's what I was saying about the kind of the face it mentality, in a way, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna overpeak here and it doesn't matter. One guy overpeaks and the chain reaction starts from that. The overpeak comes, the other guy's in the shit position, and suddenly a 1v3 becomes in a 1v1 where, like
anyone's game.
Anyone's game, exactly.
Teams are so good now at clawing back situations. Like if you do overstep, like it's crazy how quick a multi could happen, or how quick it's and I think that's probably a big conversation about the fundamentals in recent times too, because there's been a lot of conversation about just swinging because of what donk can get away with, but you can use that bomb as an extra teammate. There's a lot of things you can do. I want to kind of pivot this conversation now, because again, you speak very good Counter-Strike. So what I think would be fun would be hearing from you some of your opinions on especially a lot of these recent updates, right? Like with the money situation or overpass coming back in. I guess maybe even to some degree the development of the meta, because it was one thing that you also mentioned during that roundtable we did. You were saying like we wanted to become a top 5 team, not just a top 10 team, and you were talking about just like holding your bomb sites, right? So like, is that development of the meta? Is that something that you think that only that the elite level teams are good at doing? Because Counter-Strike for a while there, thanks to Heroic and what's lingered on for a couple years now, has just been constant moving. It's like musical chairs. Like they take this, we take this. They do this, we respond by doing this. And then what we're essentially saying, or at least my interpretation was, we need to settle into rounds a bit more. Like if we lose some space, we lose a player, we need to be confident in getting a multi or getting our one kill.
Not necessarily. There's just a big difference. I feel like, for example, if you compare, for example, best team in the world right now, Vitality, for example, or Spirit as well, right? If you look at their CT sides, and if you study their CT sides, and you compare them, for example, with Astralis, who are a very mobile team on their CT sides, where they're always kind of repushing something. They're seeking for this information. They cannot. You sometimes have a feeling that they cannot play without information, or without an understanding that it's 100% that side and whatever. But if you look at Spirit or you look at Vitality, they have like these mini plays that they give them some sort of information, but they just have like players who are constantly playing good fundamentals in terms of like crossfire and first contact, second contact, and one guy survives, so there's a better chance of retake, even if you, like, you're not gonna get a 4v5 on the site, and these kind of details is something that we are focusing on. I feel like in the major we're pushing a little bit more. Maybe not a little bit. We were a lot more cocky. Let's push this. Let's seek for this information. Let's do that and whatever. The trend is that like the top 5 teams is out of their game. It's like 10-15% max. Like you cannot have your game on CT sides. Well, of course, if you have, at least I see our team as players who have great individual skill to become a team that can play like Spirit and Vitality in CT sides. If I had players who are worse caliber, and I would not believe that we can win like that, of course I would be like, okay, let's push that, let's gamble this. I would have like set calls around CT side, whatever. But here I truly believe we have a great opper. We have 2 great consistent CT side players in Kasrat and Yuri, who can hold bomb sites like insane, like 2v5 and whatever. We have like me, who can, for example, rotate into the right direction or whatever, and Fawn, who can support in any type of scenario. And when you kind of have all these pieces, it would be strange to kind of make Kesrato push for information and he would die, and then it doesn't mean you would win the round. Sometimes people are just playing slow and whatever. So that's why we're kind of transitioning into this period of like, not necessarily what you said about like just winning the site or whatever. You still have individual or like duo plays that can give you better chances of winning the round. But it's not like a whole team strategy where everybody needs to move and leave a site open.
Sure. Yeah, we're
kind
not
of like
all
that.
going back mid to clear ancient on over middle on ancient, right? 2 guys red, 2 guys don't. It's, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that can happen. But that can happen, but that's not the majority of the game, you know?
Yeah.
It still felt like it was kind of heavy because I remember talking to Fallen about exactly the same thing, you know, that you guys are trying to not just win by pushing sides, you know, or whatever it is, right? But it still felt like during Cologne that was still happening a lot, but I guess more of a balance this time.
I think it also comes as just like, I'm not calling for these pushes from
Right,
a different side of the map. This naturally comes from players from their side of the map, from their own side of the map, when they understand, okay, I think there's going to be a gap there. That's what we want to achieve. We want to achieve, not me saying that, okay, we have to push B because I think they're going to go A because of just only like macro understanding. We want to achieve players seeing the gap, and for example, if they want to push, they're like, okay, guys, I'm going to push like this, and then the whole team can move around whatever they want to do, right? But it's everybody has a voice, and the strongest part is getting everybody on the same page and enable their voices.
Is that hard with the language? Like,
no.
Because Fallen's obviously done international teams. You've done international teams, like Molodoy, obviously on the more Russian end.
Technically, FURIA have done international teams.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't think Queserado and Yuri have bad English. It's just that they don't speak it often, right? Like, you don't hear them often speaking English.
Yeah, I think the biggest trouble is maybe from Molodoy. Sometimes for Yuri has like a specific accent that sometimes in stress situations it's hard to understand what he's saying. But other than that, I think for Molodoy it's more about expressing his thoughts. He understands everything what people are saying to him. If he doesn't understand, he asks me. But for him to express his thoughts, most of the time he tries to. Maybe he's sometimes skipping his own thoughts because he's just like, he cannot explain them, you know, and that's the only thing. But the longer we play together, the less communication issues we have.
Okay. What about the way things are going to trend with this economy update, right? Like, we already saw in Cologne things starting to head, I think 6 out of the 7 maps were CT-sided maps. And I know, right, you can have our pistol and a couple of gun rounds and then it's a T-sided map. But overall, right, we're just looking at averages from everybody that played. Most of the maps were CT-sided in Cologne. Do you think there's going to be more and more of a push in that direction? Or do you think it's just a temporary thing while people work out the money? Like, what do you make of this change?
Well, I mean, I think the maps should be CT-sided overall. I think that's a lot more interesting, because if you make a map T-sided, that means the CT side is gonna be going for aggressive stuff a lot
just
more.
Like Anubis,
yeah, exactly.
And saves.
Yeah, saves and aggressive stuff a lot more. For example, Anubis, why I hated that map. Like, it was cool and all, but like the way how to win it is like, you push mid at the right time or you push A for the right time, because you have to push, because otherwise, if T's are doing a great execute on you, you legit have no chance. Like, if they're executing A on you and you don't have a plan or a flank, or like you're not 3 players there, you're not gonna win. And this is just a gamble. Like, where do you put the 3 players? You put them on B or you put them on A. You know, that's why the map was a little bit bad. But I think all other maps, I think it's great. I think Overpass is a great addition. It's my for example, favorite map. I think it's a great map strategically. Maybe for the viewers, it's a little bit hard. But for a pro player, playing Overpass is really good, especially our team has a lot of Overpass players. Only Molodoy has not played Overpass, but it's not hard to play fucking Overpass with an op. I'm not gonna
has so many angles, man.
Yeah,
like, he has so many positions.
Yeah, the only thing I was surprised, I thought the economy change is only going to be working after the pistol round, right? And so when T's kind of planted the bomb, and CTs won the round, and
like
that's
first
exactly
like the second round, right?
Yeah, so that was the main problem of the economy, is because like the second round for T's is better than second rounds for CTs after they won the pistol round, right? That was the main concern, and I thought the economy change is only going to work for this round, but then when I saw it working for every round, well, I don't necessarily think that was fully necessary, but I think some changes and some new things. For example, the animations, people maybe dislike the animations or whatever, but I think it's cool. I think everything new in the game is something that just refreshes a little bit your kind of game time, you know, and you're like, oh, the animation, like, oh, there's different animation, whatever. You get used to it really fast, and every CS version had different animations. Why not this one?
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing the second round buys a lot more. Like, we're seeing the effects pretty quickly already, right? I mean, we used to have, you used to have to either kind of default to a FAMAS or an MP9 or whatever, but now you can afford an M4 and a whatever Kevlar, and then 1 or 2 grenades depending on like if you got 2 kills or whatever. And that's like you're suddenly not pressured into this position where you have to choose. Also, you have to predict what the other team will do, right? Because like if you want to buy an MP9 or whatever, like you probably have to play it in certain positions, and so you're only playing it because you think they're going to be on an eco, right? And then they will have a full buy, and you're going to get fucked with it because you're not in the position to play with it. So it's just the start, like the lack of the hard reset. We will see. Like I'm curious about the numbers actually, how much it will change. Or like the hard resets on second round, like how much they will impact the second round win rate for T's who, let's say, lost and then planted the bomb, right? Because that is definitely the biggest, where it's like immediate effect. You know, we can see it from the beginning of the game.
Yeah, because the problem was that, like, obviously if you get hard reset and you get 1.4k next round, and well, honestly, your chances of winning a 1.4k buy is very, very slim. And then you're starting the game with 3-1 with T-side having full economy. And for example, you start on nuke, you lose against a, I don't know, hot rush on a force buy, just a random like Tech 9 headshot and whatever, and suddenly you have no money and you're losing on a CT sided map 3-1 and T side have economy, and it can completely change around. Like this force buy just probably decides 70% of the games. If you win a force buy, most likely you're winning the map.
I wanted to. This is something that I've seen a little bit in tier 1. With the change, it hasn't happened a lot because it needs like not a perfect storm, but certain things need to line up. Is second round AWP, right? Like I've seen a bit of this, and I'm like, well, I don't know how I feel about it. I'd like for someone to go and take a look if there's any stats Andy's out there. But tier 1 Counter-Strike games that have been played since this change, how many times have we seen second round AWP, and how many times has it actually been successful in terms of do the CTs win that round? Because you're against Tech 9s and Galils, like it's not easy.
I remember. The ace from Car on Dust 2 against Astralis, I dropped an op in the second round to Mold, and we won that round no chance. He killed the Suicide Scout, he killed the top mid guy. I think it's super map dependent, because for example on Inferno, what you're gonna do with an op? Like
idea, I guess.
Yeah, so for example on Nuke, the op gives honestly a lot of opportunities for you. You can play ramp, get the free kill insta, the repeat one more time, get a second kill, because people are going a lot ramp, a lot A. So this op allows you to play, for example, one op on ramp and then heavy A, and then only one outside player, for example, and you're kind of strong against everything. I think it's very, very map dependent and also playstyle and the team dependent. So for example, some teams like to go pushing on these on different maps. They like to push it with MP9s and just trade these Tech 9s and get a good chances like that, and then obviously you don't need an op, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I have a question generally about CS2 and like the mechanics of like aim duels and all of these things, especially because I presume you watched the Ash video he made on you.
He actually shout out to Ash. He actually wrote to me like 1.5 week, maybe 2 weeks before the video was out. He was like, "Hey, listen, I just don't want it to be like a surprise and whatever, but I did actually a video after the major and whatever," and that actually was so cool, you know. Like not many player like people reach out like that before posting something like this, you know. So obviously, like because I knew about it, I kind of watched it almost instantly, and I think it was a great video.
Yeah, I mean, he was generally like pretty positive about you, but there was a part of like your mechanics, I guess, which he criticized, and mainly about like this whole being active, like moving while being in a duel. And like if people didn't watch it, probably best to watch it because explaining it's going to be hard. But like, how do you feel? Did you take any like feedback from that? And like, how do you feel about how CS2 feels like compared to
the thing is,
CS2?
For me, there was nothing really new. I think some of the examples, he maybe has different experiences of like where people stand on, for example, pistol rounds compared to buy rounds or whatever, and he's maybe like not necessarily thinking about it or whatever. I think a lot of examples he actually gave good concept. And for example, this like crouch or standing or whatever, this is a thing I've been focusing for the last 1.5 years for an entry fragger, or like for me at least. It's very hard to redo your habits of how you play the game, and that's why I believe that players who actually come into CS2 without not playing CS:GO that much, they have a little bit of advantage, because you get used to the things, you get used to the micros, especially me, for example, where I've kind of sucked out everything out of all the micros possible in CS:GO. And I was talking to, for example, Jame and VP or whatever, and that's something I've been focusing for the last year, like to add these different like micro movements and all of this type of stuff. And like if you watch many CS:GO players who played a lot of time in CS:GO, not many of them are like Donk or Kyosuke, or like in terms of like this type of movement. This is kind of this like new era of Counter-Strike that are really doing it, and just a habit, and it's hard to get rid of it.
I was talking to Fallen back in Cologne, and he was saying he got a sore pinky finger from trying to do the little crouch bob.
Yeah,
he was trying to do it so much on his micro that it started to hurt his finger. And for them, it's second nature. They don't even fucking think about it. They probably didn't even realize it was something they were doing. It's just like, a part of how they've learnt the game, which is, it's fucking crazy that we have these little animals out there running around. But we got to go to a break, Ken. Before we do, put you on the spot right now. Who's the best Counter-Strike player in the world at the moment, ZywOo or Donk?
Or somebody else?
I think, honestly, I think they both are super insane, but it just depends how you categorize it. In terms of
who do you put number one, and how do you categorize it?
I put Donk because, like, bro, he's been entry fragging. He's a guy who takes space. He's a rifler. He's a lot closer to me than for example ZywOo. I've never played the ZywOo role, and when I know how hard it is to be a Donk, but for example, the trend of the oppers and whatever, it's not like there's many oppers that are maybe not close, but on they can be a little bit like closer to ZywOo's level compared to the riflers, who physically impossible almost to be on the Donk's level. That's why for me Donk is the best. But in terms of like trophies and understanding the game, I think ZywOo is probably better.
And on that bombshell, we'll head to an ad break. Be right back, everybody.
Sell in-game items at the best prices in just a couple of clicks. We are the biggest instant sell service for in-game items like Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, and Rust. Easy selling process and instant withdrawal of funds to the most popular payment methods. More than 140,000 deals and 50,000 active sellers every month. Use promo code HLTV5 and get a 5% bonus on the sale of your skins. Skin Place. Sell items now.
When every move counts, your chair shouldn't hold you back. Top esports players are switching to Anthros for unbeatable support and performance that keeps them in the game longer. Designed to support your unique shape and built with medical-grade components, Anthros is setting a new standard for comfort. Check out the Anthros difference today and get ready to fix your sit, because gaming deserves more than just a chair.
All right, we're back in business, and we're going to kick off the second half of the show. Now, YEKINDA's going to be joining us to give his expert opinion. And he's a professional Counter-Strike player, so his opinion is about as fucking expert as it gets, I'd say. Now, if everybody missed the bombshell that's just been dropped, xFlout is returning to Heroic after EWC, I believe, if I have quickly read the news correctly. tN1R is rumored to be going to Spirit after EWC. Now, I want everybody to, at home, to point your finger right now at Striker on the screen. Okay, point your finger at him. Point your finger. Oh yeah, he's over this way. Point your finger at this man, because earlier in the year, in some episodes, Striker had been making mention of like, oh, maybe there's more changes. Oh, maybe tN1R's gone somewhere. Striker, what's going on, mate? Help us get to the bottom of this business, please.
Look, I mean, you hear things as the year develops, right? And there were things out there that suggested for Spirit we're maybe looking for at least 2 changes.
What things, Striker?
I can't look. Am I going to compromise my job if I tell you what things exactly and who? I have to be careful about some of these things.
Are you? We're looking for information. What can you give us?
I just shared all the information. I mean, tN1R is going to Spirit. I mean, it's been in the works. Like, as far as I can understand, it's been in the works. Like, at least they were after him for a couple of months. I don't know how long it was actually decided. It seems like relatively recent because of this whole heroic issue of like, you know, they only have 3 players in the core, right? They had to bring back xFloud even to keep some of their points. Honestly, they're the ones the most fucked in this, but we will get to that a little bit later.
This is not the first time heroic is fucked, no? Like,
yeah, I mean,
their cores are consistently getting got away.
Apart.
Yeah, picked apart. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's something that they were definitely looking into already during the break. But the way I understand it, I don't think it was possible exactly because of, you know, the situation heroic was in. Then again, why wouldn't they just keep going with xFloud, you know, and then just build from there, you know, bring back YaLLa anyway and not have to have these 2-3 months or whatever, well, let's say a month and a half that they played with a roster that effectively didn't matter because now, you know, they put tN1R in these opener positions and all these things only to bring back xFloud, who was already in those positions in the first place, you know, so it just feels like a lack of foresight from heroic that this was going to happen.
Do you think it's maybe somehow with the Grix, connected with the Grix situation maybe, or whatever? Like Grix got removed, and then tN1R is like, well, then I don't want to.
No, I don't think it was that recent, to be honest. I think the tN1R, like the move to Spirit. I mean, there was even a reference from we got a comment from heroic, right, from the director of esports, who said that tN1R had a clause in his contract towards Spirit specifically. I mean, I'm saying Spirit, of course, because he didn't refer to the exact team, but he had a clause in his contract towards the team that he was going to. We were told, and obviously, you know, that means it was at least a possibility.
Contract? His heroic contract?
Yeah.
Okay.
As a buyout clause, you know, and obviously he joined at first in January. I don't know if that's the contract that already had the clause of, you know, if Spirit comes asking, you can buy him for whatever it is, you know, there's going to be a set price for.
What was that from?
If a certain team comes asking, right? I don't know where that fucking theory came from, to be honest. It was not from Gun5 for sure, because I mean, since then he's moved to organizations, right? So that doesn't make any sense. It would have to be one
when
from
he
heroic.
Joined from Gun5 to heroic, in that contract.
It's not clear whether it's that one or whether he signed a new one, like in the meantime, where, you know, that was added. So I don't know how long exactly, you know, this was a possibility, let's say. I would imagine it's probably not that long ago, you know, because 7 months ago, you know, especially when tN1R wasn't really a hot commodity. He just, I mean, even heroic, he joined just because of this YaLLa situation, right? Nobody was really looking at him too much as like a big prospect, you know. So it was more of a surprise, I think, for a lot of people that he would suddenly be ready for tier 1.
I guess what you're saying is potentially tN1R joins heroic as a replacement for YaLLa on some like micro contract,
like a short contract, yeah,
right? Maybe short or low in money or whatever, or both.
And then it turns out he was fucking sick.
And then you're like, okay, I'll extend, and make it like a big contract with better salary, longer terms, whatever. But I need a clause if Spirit comes that I can leave, which is.
I mean, this is fairly common to happen in esports. I mean, in general, like especially if you have. You know, if there's a suggestion that maybe there's a better team waiting for you out there, especially for these teams like on the lower tiers, right, that are like high on the market, at the right time, they will fight for some of these clauses, right? So it wouldn't be unheard of. I don't know how exactly it went. Of course, I mean, it could be that he had it from January, you know, and Spirit have been looking at him from like for academy purposes or whatever forever, you know, and it could be from that time. But it would seem more realistic to me that it would be more recent.
Okay, some shenanigans, huh?
Yeah,
crazy. So, for me, it's surprising a little bit that I've heard Zontix is doing a lot in Spirit in terms of like micromanaging and actually communicating during the game or whatever. But tN1R has been sick. I watched a lot of his. I watched a lot of heroic. I think heroic are great. I think they have a little bit of a different style, different approach than many other teams, and. Gonna be I don't know how it's gonna go, because tN1R is the star of the team. Then you join Spirit where you have Shiro and Donk. Not easy.
You don't think the balance will be there in the Spirit roster?
Well, I think he's gonna get most of his positions. If I'm thinking, like, for example, Mirage short, Zontix is also short, right? And like if you take that to account, I think he's gonna get most of the positions. But more about like. Copper is going to be dropping an AK always for donk, you know, and never for tN1R most likely. And then sometimes like it's always like that. You come to a team where you have all the space to do whatever you want, and maybe I don't know how it was working in heroic, and then you come to a team where there's superstars that already have this space, and then you have to settle for a little bit more, a little bit less. So we will see how it goes.
You were talking about how Spirit work with this active core, right? And then they have passive sides. I mean, partly I'm sure it's because of the players, because Magix is like super passive. Zontek's not so much, of course. I mean, he can have some more aggressive plays even on CTs and even if not T side so much. But tN1R it was kind of a weird thing, even where he was a bit more aggressive. I think Harry put out this graphic about him where it's basically said that he had more openers as a lurker than when they put him in the opener positions, So which is like, that's doesn't happen a lot, but it just also speaks to how uncomfortable I guess tN1R was after being put in some of the more space taker positions, where it's just not what he used to, not what he's used to, So for him to go back to more the lurky spots, I guess, unless they want to do the zweih thing to him where they will just put him in all the same positions and have him play the exact same way
Probably,
as the previous player, possible considering what we just saw zweih do. I wonder if that's going to change a little bit, because zweih, and from what we were looking at this like 2 months ago, and I think Harry also kind of like tried to kind of like, he has these stat checks, right? And he was trying to figure out how this would work.
The images to Lucas, so maybe we can bring
there
it
we go.
up
We can take a look at it just very quickly. Yeah, I mean that's one of it, right? But I was talking more about yes.
Well, with this here, like, are we looking for someone to be that people won't be running in? Well, you still have Chopper to run in.
I mean, that's
right?
what they did to zweih, right? Because zweih is clearly being used. Can you keep that on just to okay. You change it to the other one. But if you go to the previous one, to the trading one, so zweih generally wasn't such a sacrifice on previous teams as he was now, for example, or as Magix was. But we saw that they put him effectively in Magix's role, where what YEKINDAR was saying earlier in the podcast, right, where they just have zweih rotate to entry for donk. That's effectively how zweih is being used now, same way on the T side, and so they had to put zweih more in those positions. I think that's going to stay. I think zweih is generally going to be more sacrificial. He's going to be more of a one-to-one Magix replacement, at least T side, and then CT side maybe they will share a bit more, because zweih went straight into the Magix positions, but he did have some of the ones that Zontex used to play. I think it might have even been shorts on Mirage actually.
No, I think zweih plays A and Chopper plays B now. Yeah.
Okay. And was he on A before? Do you know? I can't remember which one.
Yeah, Chopper was
A.
No,
I mean zweih in his previous.
zweih was A player, yeah, always.
Okay. Fair enough. Some of these positions were shared. I can't remember exactly which ones, but maybe the CT side is going to be more, bit more switching around for zweih back to positions that he was used to. But T side, I would imagine zweih is still going to be pretty sacrificial, and then hopefully tN1R is going to be more of an aggro lurker than Zontex would have been. Because I think it is needed for Spirit to have a bit more balance, I would say, than just the active core.
Let me ask this, right, YEKINDAR, because you see these fucking graphs up on screen and the numbers and all that shit, right? And there has to be some truth to these things. But do you as players look at this stuff and like consider it when making a roster change? This is something that Spirit, they're going to go, okay, like, let's take a look at the profiles of these players using these tools and see like, what their player profile, quote unquote, is like in old teams. Like, what do you make of these type of graphs and stats?
Well, I think we don't necessarily look at graphs. We look at games. We look how players play certain situations and how their system works in the team previously. For example, FURIA, how they approached me. They knew they need an aggressive player who's going to be entering, because you don't want necessarily Casserato or Yuri to be entering, and Fallen is not going to be doing this thing alone. They needed an aggressive player, and I think Spirit also understands that. For example, they need a Magix. For example, tN1R is, well, in my opinion at least, not a Magix, right? And
but zweih is not a Magix either, is he?
Well, zweih, I would call him this like I think the hardest part for him is going to be like to cope with this kind of scenario where he has to be in the Magix shoes, because somebody is going to have to be in those shoes. And I think maybe zweih has a little bit more firepower than Magix. Maybe that was why the decision has been made. But like his firepower is playing in different positions, and now obviously people take Cologne and they see his stats and they're like, okay, why did they take zweih? But let's be honest, if you see what roles zweih is playing and how he's playing like these T sides and how he's trying to do the what Magix has been doing for these years. Well, you understand he's actually not doing bad. He's actually doing pretty well. So I think obviously the system is going to be a little bit upgraded to the players they're going to have. For example, if the tN1R deal goes through, then I think they're going to be changing a little bit of the system, because you cannot just put one player into into another player's shoes and just, hey, do exactly like this and do like that. People are gonna have players are gonna have their preferences. You don't want to take that away, and but sometimes there's gonna be situations where it's just like you have to do this and deal with it. Like
this is the hard part, though. They like, if I'm Spirit right now, and now it feels like this change coming in with this one as well. It's like, fuck, you guys really did fuck up by not just adding Kiyosuke at the start of the year, right? And you can understand why. They won the major. They obviously started the season strong. They won Bounty, but the way it's all aged since then they just changed the way and they win Cologne. Obviously, they didn't have to beat Vitality to win Cologne, so you have to keep that in your mind. And maybe they feel, okay, we still don't have enough firepower to beat Vitality, so bringing in tN1R can do so. But it's like your system is donk. You just kill everybody, and we'll just make sure, we're getting a couple kills now and again, going 1-for-1 in a position, making sure we're blocking our spots. But realistically, like when donk is going nuclear, he's the biggest hard carry we have in Counter-Strike right now. So if the team doesn't think that there's consistency to that, or doesn't think that can be the only way that they can play the game is relying on donk to kill everybody, then trying to bring in more firepower, but the way that they play the game is going to have to change, right? Like, and we're saying, okay, they know they need a Magix. I feel like, would it be fair if I said they know they need a Mezzinho, right? Like a guy who can shoot like Mezzinho can shoot.
They need a Mezzi.
Okay, there you go. So, but tN1R in certain positions kind of feels like a Mezzi to me. Like, tN1R's there, he's going to get 2. Like, I'm going to watch him get 2, right? And he maybe even might get that 3rd. And like that right there is, like, Zontix has clutch moments. But I guess I once you've said they need a Mezzi, I don't put Mezzi and Zontix kind of in the same. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So it just feels like they want to try and have more consistency from their other pieces within the team. But
well, I put for example, like Vitality's system is a lot different than Spirit's system, so you cannot necessarily compare them. And what I mean by Mezzi is it's more like a Magix.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's also kind of like a FlameZ. So you need the FlameZ and a Mezzi, and Apex. So you need 3 players who's gonna be sacrificing for your 2 stars. And what stars does the Spirit have? You have donk, and you have Shiro. And we need 3 players who's gonna be sacrificing for that. And zweih sacrificing. Chopper, of course, is sacrificing. Yeah, that definitely, of course. And then you take a tN1R, and that's where I feel like, well, maybe they're going to have a little bit of clashes and a little bit of problems. But from their perspective as well, maybe the problem is the end situation of the round, where donk can get those openings, and he's going to get like 2 openings, and then he's going to get traded, and then it's a 3v3, and maybe they needed like end game player. And I think tN1R is great at that.
Okay. Well, I think this is obviously news of the day, right? Because this has just come out and it's post EWC that this is going to be going down, or at least it's alleged to be going down. The article is written by Striker, so if Striker's here, I imagine it's happening.
Let's say I haven't put out a piece of report that hasn't been right yet.
Oh, look at that! Look, he's flexing on you. He's flexing. Huh? So I'll be honest, I don't care about the heroic side so much. Like this team, I think if this is their business model,
them, though. Like it is.
Yeah, but like X-Flag comes back, they'll be fine. They got this fucking
not from that perspective necessarily, but it's more like, so the way, again, I'm gonna be the boring VRS guy, but the way that this works now is that they will get all the points, so they will keep all the points from before their break because they will still have the X-Cloud, Youngstar, LNZ core from those times, but they will lose all the progress that they made this season with
and Fisher and Bounty.
Yeah, exactly. So they will lose all of that. It's not even about decay; it's just going to be removed because they will once they will play
from the points they have.
And
is the problem down the stretch.
Yeah, because now they like their latest result with xCloud is, let's say, 2 months old. It's the major, right, or something like that. So that's the last thing that they will count for them. And so the next time there's a lot of invites that they've gotten in the meantime, and so they will be able to play based on those the VRs that they have. So it's not going to be such a big problem as long as they have some decent results from now on. But if they don't, then they will drop very quickly because they will lose the last 2 months, as I said, or last month and a half or so that they've been playing.
The only one
events.
that really matters was their results at Cologne, which was the win against like VP and
because they went out last in Fisher, right?
Complexity was an online thing, and Fisher they got 2-0'd. So it was already going quite poorly for them, I guess.
Honestly, it sucks to be heroic a little bit. You're not like a restaurant where people just coming in and dine. You're like a supermarket. People just come there and buy whatever they want and just leave. Bro, like, it just fucking sucks, man. Honestly, like I cannot imagine to be like a player, for example, who's been playing their LZ, for example, right? Imagine you're an IGL. Oh, okay, yeah, you take my coach and Opera, okay. Oh, you're taking my star rifler. Oh well, okay. It
is more confusing to me, to be honest, what happened with this Griggs situation, because it's like he plays 2 events and he's just bye.
Okay, I've completely missed all the or like not necessarily the rumors, but like the gossip around it. Like, what was the reason?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they said it's like stylistically he didn't fit all these things that you always hear.
He got in a fight with Youngster, and they threw hands. That's what HLTV threads told me. So
I think there could be 2 reasons. One of them, he's either baiting, and people hate baiters.
People fucking hate baiters. We don't talk about it enough.
People hate baiters, and it's like, if you're baiting, bro, you're out of the team. That's one. Or the second one is he maybe was being forced to play a little bit like Sampaios, and Sampaios was a very supportive opper, and the Griggs wants to be like more an opper that goes for things, and he needs more support behind him. So maybe those are my two takes that maybe why it happened like that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, because from watching him, like his stats weren't great. He had a couple of pretty bad games, but there were moments, and you feel like, okay, at least he would get a chance. Not just 2 events and
but how
something must have gone wrong pretty badly.
Yeah, people think about the stats as if it's the holy grail of Counter-Strike or whatever. Yeah. Bro, look at stats of like Chopper or whatever, or like any.
Yeah, but this is an opper we're talking about.
No, of course, but it's just an opper that completely joined in a new system, playing on a new team with new players. People cannot compare stats and whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's why I said, like, give the guy a bit of a chance. It was his first time in tier 1, so it's just,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There was probably something else in there that why it happened.
Yeah,
I guess Heroic are now just predicted right now based on what we have to not make the major, so they're kind of on that in that area. Do you guys think? I mean, obviously there's a lot left to play, but do you guys think
they
make it with this?
They have EWC, Blast London, and Stage 1 of EPL. So actually, this is the perfect time, guys.
I have a question. I have no clue, but we're playing Blast London. But is there an online qualifier to play on the LAN, or what?
Yes, there is.
For group stages online.
Oh my god, bro.
Yes, indeed. Don't worry, they're changing it back to LAN next year for the Opens.
Great.
So it'll only be the bounty, they'll be online. And I think EPL is only the first season being online. I don't know. I'm hearing different things at the moment. But yeah, hopefully online Counter-Strike stays where it fucking should, in the bin. All right, Lucas, I want to share my screen, sir, because Prof activated one of my trap cards. Okay. So share screen with others. You guys are the others.
I just wanted to ask because I don't know what happened. I don't know if my power went out or whatever. So I don't know if I missed a conclusion. But what do you guys think in the end of this new Spirit lineup? We are presuming it goes through. I mean, if Striker reported it, then it's happening, right? So do you think it's a good change? Or is it a bad change?
TLDR, when you have two superstars like Shiro and Donk, you need 3 sacrificial players, and Nier is not sacrificial player. To the other side of the coin, they needed an end game player, and Nier is a great end game player who can win rounds after Donk is. They sent Donk somewhere to kill everybody, and then if he dies, and then there's a close round, then he can win those rounds alone.
I think
the TLDR of the TLDR is like sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe
TLDR basically.
I think what I like the most is YEKINDAR, when you said that this is not gonna be, it's gonna be a different system that they play in, because it's not like they just.
I hope, because like the way that we've seen zweih implemented just didn't fill me with a lot of.
But it might be just if they knew tN1R was coming in, because
it's possible.
Obviously, there's no reason for them to change Zontix after they won. So they must have already been very deeply in conversations for this to happen previously. And you also know that xCloud went out, so tN1R couldn't leave without Heroic losing their VRS ranking. I still have no idea why he went out. Doesn't make any sense to me, because it would have been easier for everyone to just do that change right then. But okay, so obviously that was something that they're planning before. So if you already know that in a month or whatever you're going to have a new player, I guess it makes sense for tN1R to be the more aggressive between like him and zweih. But between zweih and Zontix, you want zweih to be more aggressive, but he went into Magic's roles, which didn't really make a lot of sense to me. It makes sense if they're making a second change, but I still think it's going to be a significantly different spirit, which can be good, can be bad. But
I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Let's
take it away.
No, you're right. You're right. I was just getting everything together, and I was just looking at some of like tN1R's positions, and but either way, I think it's time. Now, we didn't do this coming out of the season because I'll be honest, it felt like the player break was just yesterday, and it still kind of does. But this is why this is important right now for us to get into. Lucas, you can whack up my shared screen right now, please, sir. Okay, everybody, as this always works, the new way that the seasons are structured is we're heading to the goal. And the goal is winning the fucking major. And the next major is hosted by StarLadder. It's going to be in Budapest. And as you can see on the fucking screen right there, it's going to be from November the 24th until December the 14th. And this is what it's all about. This is the trophy. YEKINDAR, he wants to be there on the stage in Budapest, lifting it. Fallen's around him in tears. He can't believe he's got his third major trophy. Molodoy is on the phone. He's ordering a Subaru WRX or something. I don't know why, but everyone's having a great time. The Brazilians are dancing. But that's the goal. Whenever I envision the goal. Now, how do we get to the goal? Well, Striker,
nice
I hope I've got this fucking date correct, because if I got this wrong, I'm going to look like a bit of a clown. Here's some effects, everybody. What does that say, Prof? What does it say, Prof?
October 6th.
All right, here we go again. What does this one say?
October 6th.
All right. What does this one say?
October 6th, but just
and why
higher.
Is it important? It's the VRS cutoff date, right, Striker?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Now, what is the VRS cutoff date? It is the day teams will be decided for the major. Remember, the major's the goal. Important date. Yes, that fucking StarLadder Budapest major. Yeah? You are on board, Striker? You happy?
I am absolutely. This is blowing my mind right now.
All right. It's important date. Everybody mark it in your calendar. Now, here's the last piece. We got 55 days from right now until the VRS cutoff. And once the cutoff happens, we've got 49 days from then until the major. So those are some fun facts for everybody. That's all those
like a lot of time, but yeah, sure.
It does. And I
sounds like a lot, but it's not.
Yeah.
I wish the cutoff was closer to the major. Do you?
I was going to say that. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Closer to the major?
Yeah. Do you wish there was like 49 days from the cutoff until the major starts? That's fucking 2 months, mate.
Yeah, right now we're so high in VRS rank that for me, I don't.
the sooner the better.
The teams that are low ranked, that yeah, of course, like they would wish. But I mean, if we talk theory, I think getting cutoff closer to the major is better, because teams. But to some degree, because teams are going to be try-harding a lot more for points, like closer to the major, and then the other tournaments matter a little bit more, and all.
Yeah. I mean, more of the season matters, right? So that's also important.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is what it is. So that's what we're dealing with. Those are the cold, hard facts right now. Next slide, which I'm controlling, so we can go there easily. Okay, event timeline for 2025. So this is July to December.
Animations. Huh? I wish this had animations.
No, there's not any animations.
This is dog shit.
I'm sorry, everybody. Now, here's what we need to explain to everybody. Fisher and IEM Cologne have already happened, so their VRS implications are already filtered into the system. Right now, we have Blast Bounty Season 2, which is currently going down. The 8 teams are arriving in Malta right now, and they'll be playing on, is it just Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or is it Thursday as well?
Will there be greeting them at the airport, Chad?
I will not be. I'll be in my home. The teams that... Well. Okay, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for Bounty. You can see I've got the prize pools online. I got the dates there, and we got the teams for this one. So you're going to have Vitality, Spirit, Mongols, Aurora, Liquid, Astralis, Mouse, and VP. So for teams like Liquid, Astralis, VP, this is all very important for the hunt for that major qualification for that Magic Day. Then we have Esports World Cup, which will kick off the week after. Then we have Blast Open London, which we were just talking about with YEKINDAR, which starts online, then goes only 6 teams to the LAN playoff. And then next slide, we have Fisher Playground. That should say Season 2, not Season 1. I copy and pasted. So
this is after this
No, not
slide
yet.
is after.
This is
Not
still
with it.
before.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is all before the cutoff date. Then Star Ladder Series Budapest, which I've seen a lot going on with that. We'll talk about that at some point. That's only 8 teams on LAN in Budapest, so that will have implications for the VRS cutoff date as well. And then EPO Stage 1, which concludes on the 1st of October. Striker, will that have implications on the VRS cutoff date?
I'm trying to remember if they made some changes to that with this last model change, but I think so, yes.
Wait, so there is a StarLadder Series Budapest tournament, and then there's a StarLadder Budapest Major.
Yes.
Oh my god.
They're doing a trial run. They haven't run an event in a very long time.
Okay.
So they are just getting used to it on the ground. But my understanding seems to be that the last event that will count will be the ESL Pro League Season 22 Stage 1, which is 16 teams. It qualifies 8 teams in Stage 2, which that starts, as people can see that, on the 3rd of October. But because the event will be ongoing, those points will not count to the VRS cutoff. So the last thing that will matter will be Pro League. But also there's Fragadelphia before, which I think a lot of teams are going to try and fly out to play. So that's another one that I probably should have whacked on here. But that's essentially the whole lay of the land. So we only have, fucking 5 or 6 more big events that can have implications on the VRS, right? Only 5 or 6 more events before
and most of them are
day.
not that big and don't have that many games. Like if you think, I don't even know which one will have the most impact. It literally might be
Fisher
Fisher is the big one. Yeah.
Fisher is ironically the big one, which you wouldn't expect among ESL and Blast
Open's
events.
online, right? If Open wasn't online,
exactly.
Obviously the prize
they
money's not as
also
big.
has pretty bad prize money in terms of compared to the competition. So
Does
it's just always
VRS
going to be a
give
bit less.
less for online than LAN?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh. So the Blast Bounty loss that we got doesn't really matter that much, huh?
It's
Doesn't
more like
have
you just
massive
didn't really get
implications.
much out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're still good.
Look, you're projected to be like 200 points ahead of the next team in the Americas. So I think you're so far. You're pretty. I don't want to jinx anything. I don't want to.
What needs to happen for us to not be?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think you'd have to lose everything from now on until then. But
Imagine we lose everything and then molodoy gets bought out by somebody, and then we have no VRS points, and then we don't qualify. Then, fuck.
I mean,
you wouldn't lose that
change
much.
one.
They'll be fine. You would have to change 2 more players. So
Okay.
I think it's going to be pretty worrisome if you did lose molodoy, though. Maybe try Grix.
Look, you're going to make it to the major. Question is if you're going to make it to Stage 3 or 2 or whatever, because Americas did pretty well last one, if you remember. So you guys are pretty okay.
Well, that's the thing. You guys earned one of the 2 spots in Stage 3 for the Americas, right?
Yeah.
So Pain and Furia being in the top 8. And then Valve recently announced the distribution, which is basically the same as what it was for Stage 1, but we don't know if there's going to be qualifiers because they scrapped those. So it's going to all be off of VRS. So the teams who really have to worry about things is like a FlyQuest. Like a Mongols will probably be safe. Tyloo might be able to ride their residual points out. Linvision might have some issues, but nobody really cares about Asia. That's just true. Like people will start tuning out if we're talking about that. But who are teams that are in danger, right? Who people would be expecting to be at the major, but who might be on the cusp? Like who are we worried about?
Liquid is obviously one of them
Because they're European now. Yep.
Yeah, honestly, I gave Liquid a bye-bye present by us losing the game for all the old friendships. It's like for Ross, for Keith, for my boys, like.
You're giving them away.
YEKINDAR confirmed. I'm giving you
throwing game. E6 on
HLTV confirmed.
Shit.
No, yeah, they are currently 23rd in the world. That doesn't mean anything. Let me see in Europe where they are.
They're like 19, 16 now.
They're right 16th. Now they wouldn't qualify.
Yeah, they're 16th.
VP's on the bubble, NIP's on the bubble.
Barely they would because the top 16 would get, right? So, but at the moment, the projection says they're going to fall out of that. So it depends on what they do between then and now. Like they're just on the edge now.
Right, but it's got Soar Deep. It's got Gamer Legion as well, right? Yeah. Like, so obviously there's going to be a lot of events that will have impact on that. So this is like, we want to look at this through the eyes of YEKINDAR while we have him. You guys are in a really solid position, right? You're in a strong position for the Americas. So I guess your consideration of how it's all unfolding, you don't worry about it too much. You just worry about getting good results. Is that true?
Honestly, like I've never a single time before the confirmed, I've never thought even about the VRS ranks or whatever, or like we're not. The only time I thought is like because I didn't know preemptively, but in Dallas we lost against Game Legion, and if we would have won, we would actually get to EWC. And that was the only time I actually thought about VRS ranking, but only because I got told to. But honestly, we're just playing. Like if you put even more stress on you, like, oh, we have to win this game because like then we're not gonna qualify for the fucking major or whatever. It's not gonna work. So
yeah, Astras have learned that the hard way several times over.
Exactly. Yeah, honestly, yeah. So it is how it is. You know, I'm happy we qualify for a couple of playoffs. You know, and we have this opportunity that I've not qualified for some majors. So it obviously, I don't want to jinx it and everything. But I hope hopefully we go there.
You're in a good spot though. Like
you're gonna be fine. Look, you're gonna make it to the major. I think I could, like, unless you lose 3 players, you're gonna make it to the major. You're gonna be fine.
Stop. That's the ultimate jinxers here. Like,
all right.
But it is a luxury, like, because Liquid don't have that luxury, right? They're actually under the stress of we need to perform to get enough points to qualify for the major, right? So it's interesting to like see different positions that teams find themselves in, and like you're obviously in a that's kind of the way this goes. That's why Vitality last season were in such a strong position, because they could pick and choose their events. They could attend only the ones they wanted to and make sure they were gearing up for those. So like I think that's one of the keys that is quite a nice feature to have, right? And like what's the mantra in FURIA? Is it attend everything you get invited to, or you know, we won't go on a stint that's like 2 months straight, or is there any conversation along those lines?
I have no conversations about this. I don't really care. Like,
you just play.
Like I just
he didn't even know it was being played online, man. He doesn't give a fuck.
I honestly like this is like, you know, people get paid for this stuff. Like why would I think about something like this, whatever, if like my management and my coaching staff is doing a really great job of like getting the schedule in the right things and whatever. Like if I don't like something, I'm gonna say, and they're gonna be like, okay, we can do like that and whatever. But this happens so rare. Like they're doing very well, and I don't really care.
Okay, Yekinda, I'm going to tell you right now, so we can do a couple of things, because we have to do 2 topics that you're not going to give a single fuck about and are actually going to be quite boring. So what I can do is I can like reshape the run of show. So we do the things that you'll actually be interested in, and then save the other shit until the end. And then we can get
What's the things?
So Striker needs to explain to everybody now what CAC are doing with their slots is bad, and it's not. It's essentially the TLDR is going to be CAC breaking rules. Why Valve not do anything? That's going to be the TLDR.
Is it the online cup where they added the extra team, like as an invite or something?
There's a lot of things
there's
that are
a little
not
bit of
good.
bugs, yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun, and honestly, I'm gonna read chat a little bit, so you guys can just have the conversation, and maybe I'm gonna add in something, or maybe not.
The thing is, factually, Striker cannot explain all of this because we're all just gonna kill ourselves because it's gonna be so boring. But you can give us, you know, just explain. Okay, this is one thing you can give me an answer for. Why does this tournament still have VRS points assigned to it when similar things happen at the start of the year?
That's the hardest question he can possibly answer.
And they got their VRS stripped.
I mean, YaLLa were just inviting the wrong teams, and there was a lot more fuckery going on there. This is like relatively, compared to that, at least this is smaller changes. Look, why it is still ranked, you have to ask Valve. I don't know. I will have a conversation with them tonight about a lot of these things. So we'll see.
You could also argue that the YaLLa stuff was not on purpose. It was just uninformed. And the CAC stuff seems to be like, oh, we would really like to have FaZe, but we can't have FaZe. So
no,
let's have FaZe
they got an
anyway.
exception for that. So that's not really against the rules, at least.
I mean, but then there was also like the way some of the qualifiers were set up, and like like when they picked up some invites after knowing who is ranked at what point, right? Which is kind of
that's definitely against the rules. Very much so even. Yeah, I mean that's what I pointed out to them as well, and we actually wrote about it at first, right? That they effectively invited, or like they changed who they would invite, or like what slots they would assign after seeing the VRS that decides what invites they would give out, right? Which is, you know, Valve are very against that, and it is very clearly outlined in the rules that, you know, you have to invite teams with at least a month like in advance of the additional, or after the initial details come out, so that you can't see a VRS and then decide what slots you will use, because that is effectively targeting what teams you can have at the event, you know. So they changed some of the things that the invites, the qualifier slots, and all these things. They reverted some of it, but not all of it. So there are still a couple of spots that went to Europe instead of, I think, one in Asia and one in North America. Now they just have like one combined America's qualifier, which I'm also not sure how it's going to work.
Someone was saying they're going to play like 150 ping or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was talking to the Perfect World guys, and they effectively said that like if it's a NA versus SA match, it will default to like a Lima server.
Jesus.
Which is Peru, you know, like, and it's that's I'm gonna assume that it's not gonna be great for the North Americans. Let's just say that. So I don't know how this is supposed to work at like a whole America's qualifier where you combine both regions. It is gonna be difficult. That technically wouldn't be against the rules unless, you know, like, that's nothing prevents Perfect World from doing that. It's more that they took away one spot from North America, gave it to Europe after seeing the VRS, you know. So that was basically the issue that was happening there.
It's like you're playing poker and the cards have been dealt and you can see everybody's hand, and then you're deciding, and no one can see yours, and then you're deciding how you want to bet.
Kind of. Yeah. But yeah, Starlighter did actually something very similar now, and they're still not in the exceptions list for all the changes that they made to this event. You know, that's now half online. Some of the slots were changed as well after they already had the VRS announced. So all these things, like, that's very linked. A lot of these things I sent an email to Valve about. Haven't gotten a reply about a lot of them, but they do want to have
snitching.
But they do want to have a call tonight about something unrelated that, you know, I might speak to next time. So hopefully I'll get to all of these things and we will get some answers about some of these inconsistencies, you know, because it is getting a lot of people's nerves, and especially because, you know, if you're not treating everybody consistently, it's going to be a problem. You know, Starlighter CAC got told to hold a tier 2 event instead of a tier 1 with a slight exception, but Starlighter didn't. You know, when they had worse things happen to them, you know, they had to move some of the event online. Blast never got punished for moving their event online when they said originally that was going to be on land. You know, like all these things that are happening that are just very inconsistent, and that, you know, other TOs would have liked to do but weren't allowed to, and some of these things, you know, so they're just getting away with a slap on the wrist. A lot of these things are, yeah, I think a lot of people are getting disenchanted with the lack of, you know, Valve putting their foot down about some of these problems.
I think we're in a weird spot because obviously it's the first year of the VRS, and we knew that there was going to be teething issues throughout, which is fine, right? That's just the way it has to go. But I think when, you know, you can start building some conspiracy theories to, okay, well, Perfect World, CAC, Perfect World, they essentially run, you know, Counter-Strike in China for Valve. You know, they can't be there without them. You know, maybe Valve are being kind to them because of that fact. It's like, okay, this is where it's
They're
bad,
not, because
right?
I pointed out a couple of things, both to Perfect World and to Valve, and they were always very quick about trying to resolve, like, if they were against the rules. It seemed more a result of lack of understanding of the rules or what they're allowed to do, rather than, you know, attempts at
people always want to assume the worst stuff, right, Striker?
Yeah.
And that's the problem with this, is like people are looking to underpin it and look for, okay, you know, this is bad and this is wrong.
If anything, Perfect World were actually handed the worst punishment I've seen so far, other than, you know, the first couple of events that were made unranked, which is that they were told they can't invite any of the top 12 teams. They can only invite one, actually, which was FaZe as like the previous winner, the exception that they got. So actually, Perfect World got one of the harshest dealings with Valve that I've seen so far, out of all the tier 1 events at least.
But overall, right, there's inconsistencies out there with multiple tournaments that aren't going to have an impact on the major this time round, but will start having an impact on the flow on into the next year's first major, right? And you know, you obviously want to see Valve dealing with these things, but it's also tough for them. And that's the reason I was saying those teething issues, is because they also don't want to completely take the legs out from under these TOs and then they just stop running events, because that's the last thing that you want to have happen, right? The whole reason by opening up the ecosystem, you want to make sure that if Blast and ESL went under, there would still be Counter-Strike tournaments, right? That's one of the factors with opening things up. So yeah, look, right now, a couple of tournament organizers doing the wrong thing. I want to do a show with Striker Prof where I get like him and like all these VRS nerds on there, and I get them to explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old, right? We just sit there and these guys just like battering me with information until I understand and I can regurgitate it, because so much shit is going on with this all the time. These guys are out there tweeting essays and shit, and I'm like, I'm reading it, It's like when I was doing economics in school. I was paying attention, but it didn't hugely
It's just not
grip me.
registering. It's just not registering.
And it's always changing. It's always changing.
It's also difficult. I mean, it's difficult even for me sometimes to keep in line because I don't understand all of the code to the last detail, you know. So
but
even
what's
for me,
the date we have to remember,
sometimes.
Everybody?
October 6th.
Hey, look, you guys learned, so we can remember a simple
we
date.
Good. Me and Striker were nerds. We were good in school.
Nice. Okay.
I wasn't.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I was not giving a fuck at all. So I might have been a nerd. I just not
Striker
about
was
school.
the cool kid.
No, not even that. No, I was definitely not the cool kid or a nerd. I was somewhere in the middle.
Chad, I have you written down for the HLTV Awards conference for a panel on VRS. Actually, I didn't tell you, but I'm telling you now, just so you know.
Oh shit! I had the rest of the year
to host it. You know.
Oh, to host it. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You can just ask questions. You don't need to. You don't need to know anything.
The hosting, it's fine. Having to give a TED talk, that's a bit harder.
What did I want to say? I wanted to say something, but it's. I mean, overall, I think like VRS is working and it's not bad. But I think when you see some of these situations for middle of the pack team, like between like 18, 15 to 25, 30, I feel like there's a lot of like inconsistencies that kind of can fuck you over, and for TOs as well. I think we can like just move on to the whole YaLLa situation. Is like ultimately no one wants TOs to go under and people to be not paid, but also you need to be strict with the rules. But then when you're strict with the rules, sometimes it hits the fan. And some of the MRQ stuff that happened. I mean, just this YaLLa situation, the way they got, I would say, dealt a very bad hand first in the start of the year with stuff not being VRS ranked, and then their event that was supposed to be a LAN having to go online because of overlaps with different tournaments, the MRQ, whatever, Melbourne, I think that was happening.
Yeah.
Like all of these things, that just puts a company under. Not saying because of that.
I would say there's plenty of other things that led up to that.
Not just because of that.
Just made it worse, but not caused it.
But companies that are already like on the verge, and a lot of companies in esports are already on the edge, and so this is the same for like TOs and for teams. Like it is important to be fair in these decisions because like people's lives depend on it, right? And unfortunately, like I do feel like this whole YaLLa situations, obviously in TLDR, they're bankrupt and it's like million plus in debt to multiple people and companies around the world. But a part of the blame, a small part, is on Valve and the way they set up the circuit in terms of like you need to have a big prize pool to attract big teams to come in, and it actually doesn't even matter if you pay it.
Look at Frag. Oh, big team. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the big teams are kind of there, right? They took a different approach, and an approach that's much cheaper and more works better that we saw now with multiple teams. But at the beginning of the year, TOs didn't really think of it from that perspective. But ultimately, you can have a big prize pool, never pay it out, and that is better than having a mid prize pool and paying it out because you won't get teams. So you can't monetize and you can't really do anything. If you're just doing a $250,000 tournament, no one's going to really come because Fisher has 1 million.
We see even worse things, right? I mean, we see 1 million tournaments. I mean, this Thunderpick one that's going to happen, I don't know, in a couple of months, whatever it is. I really doubt that there's going to be any tier 1 team there. And if there is, it's just going to be somebody who doesn't have anything better to do in that particular time. That's like 1 million tournaments. That's effectively not going to matter.
I mean, again, very small percentage of blame on Valve, but at the same time, they are doing nothing to make sure that these people can actually pay out anything. So we saw Sky Esports doing this. We saw now YaLLa. We see other different tournament organizers coming in with prize pools that don't make any sense. But there is no one stopping them from doing it. And actually, it is better because games that happen there are worth more, even though that money might not exist.
It
just doesn't exist,
This is the thing.
And the teams have to go to play this because they want to qualify for the major, even though they have a good indication that they're not going to get anything out of it in terms of the actual prize pool. But the prize pool is the VRS that they're getting.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there's a couple of TOs right now, not like any of the big ones, some of the like more fringe ones that are trying to break in, and you see do not always just tier 1 either, that I know some of my colleagues are having a hard time getting paid from. That feels like it's a bit of an esports special. I don't know if that like follows down the chain as far as prize money is concerned as well. So it's like, it's not just an exclusively a YaLLa thing if people see this and they go, oh, you know, it's this one company that couldn't pay its start. Like,
I mean, it's the total tale as old as time. It's been that way for a very long time, especially the further down you go, the more problems are like that emerge.
Well, let's keep it moving. I want to get YEKINDAR back in the conversation.
Finally.
We're going to bring him back in. So
I have a question though about the YaLLa. Like, there's been like plans like this like all the time, no? Like even like starting from 1.6 and like with the where you come into a different country and there's no computers, or like the desks are fucked, or everything like that. So I think it's never gonna change, and sometimes it's gonna happen. And I have a question about the VRS. So the main objective of VRS was that the lower opposition, or like not lower opposition, but like lower scale organizations, ranked organizations, they have a chance to qualify for the big events themselves, right? If I think VRS is honestly a success in terms of that, like, for example, teams, the top organizations that are playing bad, they're honestly dropping in rating. Like, for example, how we're thinking about the VPs and the liquids that are all maybe not going to qualify for the major because of the VRS.
Fnatic was in this, you know, EPL kind of rotation, and they were playing tournaments, and now they're nowhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. So kind of what Valve wanted for VRS to do is happening. So I think it's at the end of the day really still really cool.
I think like, you know, once we iron out a lot of these kinks, the biggest thing we have to look at is how do we make the tier 2 scene healthy? Like we used to have all the DreamHack open lands back in the day. We need something like that. And maybe this Fragadelphia way of going about things is something that could start. Like TOs could go a bit more raw. It doesn't have to be like the perfect setups with, you know, crazy screens and shit. It can just be smaller and more simpler broadcast, because like I put Lucas, if you're there, whack open this image. Hopefully it works. And I was just having a look. I saw on Reddit, and someone posted it earlier in the day as well, and someone just reposted it too. But I put it in TS for everybody if you want to open it. This is the teams in attendance for the Fragadelphia LAN in October.
I actually saw this. I was like, okay.
But there's a lot of notable names, like Zero Tenacity, OG, 500, Fnatic, 9Z, Eyeballers, Metasport. We've got
Bounty
NIP,
Hunters, Marsport.
Big 9 are there. Wildcard, that Colsey team, which is the Polish lot. We've got Complexity. We've got like Ents, like Sora there. Like that's a lot of, and these are those fringe teams. Those are those teams that are going to be battling for those last few points to try and qualify for the major. So, you know, this is kind of what, people are calling it an RMR because it's the event just before the major, right? And the prize money is nothing, but they're going there for the LAN wins, right? And that's some of the tier 2 and tier 3 teams have a hard time to get LAN wins because there's not many LANs for them to go to. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. And hopefully Fragadelphia are leading the way for smaller TOs or even bigger TOs to understand that the level of event that you can run doesn't need to have crazy prize money. These teams are chomping at the bit to go to events where they get an opportunity just to play LAN games, man. And like, they're not the biggest names. There's no fucking vitality here, but people are going to watch OG play. They're going to watch Big play. They're going to watch Fnatic play. So yeah,
especially for the level of, like, let's say investment from the tier, right? Like, it's not some massive stage expenses and whatever it is. Like, yeah, you just need to have the amount of PCs, unless it's a BOC or whatever. You need to have the infrastructure, and then a lot of that is going to be paid through the fees in the first place, right? So that's also something that will help you along the way to actually run some of these events, So, and actually a lot of the expenses that tier 1 TOs have to deal with, which is covering flights, travel, and all these, covering flights, covering hotels. None of these guys are doing that. All these guys, like, everybody's paying their own way for the organizations. Obviously, the team orgs are going to have a problem with that eventually, because there's only so many times they can send somebody to these events.
How bad do you want it, Striker?
And there's also an argument to be made, that this is kind of this. Puts teams with funding at an advantage, right? But that's always, I guess that's always going to be the case. I don't know if you can really make a case that's
kind of the problem we're trying to solve on the whole planet, really, aren't we? Like,
I mean, it's also like, I was thinking about it, it's like, teams that have more money can just fly out their team to Las Vegas to play Fragadelphia, but also teams with more money can get better players that can beat your team and can buy your best player. So it's it's capitalism. It's kind of like that,
Yeah, life just works that way.
All right.
So, I mean, I think this is great. I think this is great at the moment because all of these have a lot of value, but also it's going to get worse the more of these will pop up, because then everybody will have a lot of line points that don't technically mean anything, because everybody's kind of going to be on a similar level, right? So they're going to matter less the more of this we see happen. So it's just, and also there could be, at any point, Valve could just decide, to put these line games in more context, because at the moment, any line game is worth effectively the same thing, regardless of what the competition is at the tournament, So like you could play 3 local teams, and you can get 3 local games, and you can get 3 LAN wins to your name that are worth the same as playing Cologne playoffs and winning 3 LAN games.
We're going to see this in Asia too, aren't we? We're going to see this pop up. There'll be a couple that pop up just before that. But okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get YEKINDAR back in the conversation. Your boy s1mple, BCG, Striker got the reaction from you in Cologne. You were blown away at the time.
This was the greatest. This is the greatest. Did you see that?
That was also like after the Falcons game, right?
Yeah, that was right after the Falcons game.
No, actually, it was against G2.
Oh, was it G2?
Yeah, G2.
Okay.
G2. Yeah, we actually beat them. We played really good, and I'm waiting for
It was like double OT as well or some shit at the end, right?
Yeah, and it was like some very close Inferno game. Yeah, the second map and whatever. And I'm coming, and Striker is like, okay, I have a question for you. I'm like, okay, something about the team, something about the game, and then like, yeah, s1mple joined BC Gaming. Like, what do you think about that? I'm like, okay, like, honestly, I was shocked a little bit, but not like fully shocked, because I knew, like, obviously he wants to play, and obviously he wants to show himself, and bro, I'm happy he's playing. I have not had the chance to watch the BC game that they played not so long ago, but I've seen some stats, and didn't look that good. That's the screenshot I saw.
Played today, and he had a good series. Yeah, it was against
better.
Spirit Academy. He had a good series today. Obviously, one of the things that we were talking about back in Cologne was how is he going to handle playing with players that are under his level, right? And like s1mple obviously has a very high understanding, but it's about, does he have the patience and or the ability to communicate that to the team to get them up to par, right? Because that's a thing. You can know a lot, but being able to communicate it's another. And then there's always the conversation about his level. Our biggest takeaway is him just grinding again, right? So
that's good.
And these best of 3s that they're playing for BCG, like think about the viewership that's bringing to tournaments that are like the Pineapple Cups, right? Like who the fuck knows what's going on, who's playing who, but we know s1mple's in the server. I think the Andu edition's not bad. I always wondered why he got replaced from Gamer Legion, because he looked like, he had something to offer, that young Estonian kid. But yeah, like it's just fun that I can turn on and watch like s1mple playing, and he's playing in a team he's grinding
on a Tuesday at 12. Yeah. Game of the year. The forums were on fire because he was playing this new Spirit Academy player that came in, and like it's also.
Is there a new like?
There's a new donk,
or
yeah,
there's always a new donk, mate.
Man.
Like the funny thing is,
bro, like
the funny thing is, people, I half of it is bait and jokes, but half of it is like, yeah, Spirit owned this kid. Spirit Academy, this is his 9th map on fucking HLTV, and they're playing with a coach who is opping, and people are like, yes, the fucking s1mple, he owned this fraud. It's like literally, what the fuck? It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. But I skimmed through the game a bit. It looked absolutely horrible. The game looked like a Face-It bug. It looked, I don't know what, people are just like running around on Barrage everyone's doing their own thing.
I saw this one moment. There was like a 5v3 and BCGame double push CT. They got both of them died, and then the retake happened or something like this. And I just imagine like my emotions if we play around like that, and then I imagine s1mple's emotions after that.
Yeah. It's going to be some interesting times out there. This is what they should do. Stream his comms. Just we see that should be, it's like Big Brother meets a professional Counter-Strike. We get to the listening and everything.
Video will come out. That's the problem.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, people usually cut off unnecessary comms.
Yeah, that's true.
Like.
That's true. All right, let's keep it moving because we're already in 2 hours. So we'll whip up these last couple of things to talk about, and then we'll be done and bloody dusted. Now, another little sponsor segment we do on this show every week. It is called Fix Your Sit, brought to you by Anthros, lovely chair sponsor. If you need a place to sit, get yourself an Anthros. It'll fix your sit. All right. This week, I have something a little bit more prepared. Last time around, I was just sad at online Counter-Strike, and I still am. But this time, I'm sad about the Veto situation, especially at these top tier events. And for people who don't know, you guys get the Veto given to you, I don't know, on broadcast 5 to 10 minutes before the game goes live, right? And there's a whole segment and the Veto thing pops up. But when the teams are doing it at events, and I believe, I didn't get this verified, but I did read somewhere that it was like the whole reason this popped up was because Mongols were apparently late for their Veto.
Right, yeah.
Now, first things first, you shouldn't be late for your Veto. Right, that's the first thing I'm going to say. But it's not. I don't care about that overall. Like I've said my piece there. Don't be late. My problem is when the Veto is conducted. So if for Blast it was an hour and a half, or even if it's an hour, I think that is way too long before the start of the match to be doing the Veto.
It was start of second map of the previous series.
Okay, so then if it goes to a third map.
Yeah, you know the maps, yeah.
So
I'm not doing the vetoes or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that was the veto time.
Okay, so that for me is way too long of a period of time. I'm pretty sure ESL standardized an hour before the match, and then they've also taken out the individual veto in the sense that like a coach and in-game leader are there with an admin doing it. I'm pretty sure ESL have it on like a web page.
On the phone, yeah.
And I don't like that either. Now, from an efficiency standpoint, and so like production knows and everyone knows what map it's going to be on, and so the fucking team manager can go and print the right notes and everything, fine, right? Those are all things that you can sit there and you guys can say, yeah, those things, it makes it easier for us. But the veto is one of the key components of a Counter-Strike match, right? Just because we get to the point and we see the maps and they're playing them and we're going, oh, they've banned this and they've banned this. That's a big fucking deal, especially in certain matchups where, let's say, both teams have the same permaban. Who's going to float it? There's veto theory. Oh, shit, they left it open as the third. Do we go for the punish, right? All of this stuff, to be doing it an hour to an hour and a half before a game is so fucking dumb because it's taking away a gaming element, like a gamified element of Counter-Strike that has existed for as long as I've been playing Counter-Strike, whether it's vetoing down to one map, whether it's vetoing in a best of 3. You can also like sit there and tell from people's body language when you're doing a veto. Like you pick a map and you can see, oh shit, it didn't seem like they were ready for that. You can make a couple little quips or jabs. You can try and get in their head before. It's all part of the game. And I'm disappointed that based off of efficiency that we have removed the veto from being a part of our biggest tournaments, and we've done it so far before. Mate, if I surprise pick a map and you have an hour to then go look at Skybox Edge with your 614 different members of staff, it's not a surprise anymore, bro. Like, we've taken away a fact of the game that needs to be reinstated. I think the veto should be done 15 to 20 minutes before the first map goes live, right? That gives teams just a quick chat to go, okay, yep, no, they pick first. Like, oh, yeah, no, they gave us team B, so we pick first. Oh, this is what we're doing. We spoke about the game plan last night. And then in the meantime, let's say map 2's come up and it's a different map than you're expecting. Well, your fucking staff is scrambling to work out what you're going to do. But that's part of the game. I don't think you should have an hour to settle in and do all of this bullshit just so that tournament management or somebody has information a little bit earlier to make their job behind the scenes. This is about the competition. The veto is part of the competition. I think it needs to be restored to its former glory. I think fucking make sure that when people are doing the veto, they're mic'd up, right? We can even get a talent member there as a host to maybe ask some questions. The veto is going down, but bring it back to part of the broadcast because it's fucking dumb. There we go. That's my piece. Yeah, power to the veto.
I think that's a cool take. I'm not gonna lie, but no, but honestly, like in tier 1, a lot of the times everything goes as expected. A lot of the times, and the hardest part is when you're playing against a team where they have multiple possible picks and you have multiple possible picks when you guys have a good map all in between the teams. So for example, Liquid one, we know Mirage, we know all the maps that are gonna happen. Then there was one, I don't remember, they picked our map that we wanted to pick, Inferno, big. It was big on Blast Bounty.
Yes.
We wanted to pick Inferno on them. And they picked Inferno on us and we're like, okay, pick our best map, Dust 2, and whatever, and we just played like Inferno and Dust 2. But sometimes I agree, like if you have it like 10-15 minutes before the game, it can cause some emotions and it could cause some hassle. You know, I think it's pretty cool. I think that's something that LANs are known for. You know, and now it's a little bit too stable.
Like I saw Graham reply, and it was in jest. He was like, "Oh no, think about all the trees, like because they're gonna have to print like all 6 maps worth of notes and shit before the bit, you know." And then Gomez thought that this is the manager of FlyQuest for those people playing at home. He had a reply, and he was like, "Well, I've actually got a solution for that. So what they could do is provide 6 Kindles, and there we would preload the notes onto the Kindle, and then you would just be able to. You wouldn't have to print any pages." I'm like, that's actually a pretty sound idea, right? If you had a Kindle and you could just go all through all your notes on the Kindle, that'd be pretty sick. But imagine if your Kindle died. We've seen like people's mouse stop working. They got to plug it in. It's like, my notes aren't working. Oh fuck! We've got to take a tech timeout because these Kindles died. It's like, oh no! Like, what are we doing, guys? Someone's reading like a June book between rounds or whatever instead of sitting there and actually reading.
Remember,
the notes.
like back in the days, like nobody even had notes, bro.
Yeah.
Like people were playing, just playing the game. They all memorize the strats and whatever that they need. They all know their role and whatever. Now there's a fucking essay page on like everybody's PC. Like for example, me, I never look at that page. Like I remember all my like strats or whatever because like when you understand the concept, then it's easier a lot to remember like whatever details you need to remember. But it also comes there's a lot of things, but I know there's a team, for example, that they create like certain rounds for the certain like opponent and whatever, and that's where it gets hard. And you probably know, guys, this team, they have a lot of pages usually. And
Na'Vi?
Well, I'm not gonna say.
Oh, it's Na'Vi. Well, it could be Na'Vi. Who knows? We don't really know.
Yeah, it is Na'Vi, but I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say though.
All right. So that's the fix to sit. Let's jump around here. Let's get into Bounty. Obviously, YEKINDAR, you guys unfortunately lost to Liquid in what was a really entertaining game, I thought. But 8 teams will be in Bounty coming up over the next couple of days. Single elimination, 8 teams, best of 5 grand final. Vitality, Mouse, Spirit, Mongols, Aurora, Astralis, Liquid, Virtus Pro. In terms of the way the bracket is and everything, we don't know the matchups yet. So it's a little bit tough to talk about who's going to be facing who because we don't know.
You can kind of predict, I guess.
You can try and predict, but
Is it the pick system again?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
like
I like this system. I think this system is fucking cool as fuck.
Well, who's the lowest seed? It's Liquid, right?
No,
VP,
Liquid, I guess.
It's Liquid.
I don't know what the
simulator exists. We can use it. Yeah.
That's on the Blast website.
Blast. Yeah. I'll give it to you.
Oh shit. Okay.
It's
so hard when like TOs have their own websites because you never use them. You never have any need to use them until right now.
Quarterfinal, you need to click quarterfinal, semifinal.
Okay. How do I add the teams?
There's a complete prior stages.
Oh no, wait. Okay, so teams there. No. I see it. It's fine. I can try and work this out. Hold up. So Liquid would be the lowest seeded team, right? Oh, you can only add 1 team per thing.
Liquid is seed 8, Astralis seed 7, VP are seed 6, Aurora
just click on
5.
something in the previous one and just confirm it back, and then it will work in the second one.
Yeah, okay, yes. So...
There's a leaderboard on top right.
Yep.
Yes, so Aurora will be picking first because they're 5th.
So who are you picking if you're Aurora? Mongols, Mouse, Vitality, Spirit. Don't they have a pretty bad record against Mongols?
They are like back and forth now. I mean, they lost the last one, right? They lost the last maybe 2 even.
Who do they have a good record against?
In those teams?
None of the top teams for sure. Yeah.
If they play Vitality and they fucking beat Vitality again.
They're not going to pick Vitality.
They beat them last time at Bounty in the same game, no?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's the story. Maybe that's what they go for. Guys, merhaba, let's go. Let's go for the same team, same tournament. Like, boom, boom, boom. Easy.
Who are you picking? You get Mongols?
If I'm Aurora?
Yeah. Mouse?
Spirit?
I mean, it's got to be Mongols now.
I think I pick Spirit if I'm Aurora.
Whoa.
Really?
Okay.
Oh, I guess. No, it's fair. It's fair because if Zontix is out after, maybe he just fucking phones it in.
Yeah, I think Spirit right now is on transitioning period after winning Cologne. Like imagine like you're getting zweih, right? You set him up into a system. He's playing the system. You guys win a tournament, whatever. Now you need to set him up in his way of thinking. Like for example, oh, I don't like this, or I need to change that. So you're kind of starting to adapt this way. Then there's also the Zontix near situation. So I think Spirit right now is the most turbulent out of those.
Okay. I guess it also just depends on like the head-to-head, right, of how they go. Like I can try and have a look right now for Aurora against them, but fuck it, that'll take too long. Let's save it for another day. We'll let the people who are watching the VOD work it out. Okay, so then if you're who is seed 2 then? It'd be VP. So who are you picking out of Vitality, Mals, or Mongols?
Has to be Mongols.
Yeah?
Yeah, or Mals or Mongols, yeah.
So
nobody's gonna pick Vitality, bro. Nobody's gonna.
That means Liquid are gonna get stuck with Vitality.
Yeah.
So then it's Astralis Mals. Astralis Mals sounds like a fun game.
I think VP likes to play against like kind of Mouse, FaZe, these kind of teams.
I think
I don't even know how to explain like these kind of teams, but like these like European players that rely on individual skill a lot. Oh, actually, then VP would pick maybe Mongols or something. I don't know. Yeah, I think for VP it's comfortable to play against teams that rely on individual skill. That's what I can say.
Okay. Well, let's do this, YEKINDAR. With these 8 teams in attendance, with the news about Spirit, who's winning?
My brain is saying Vitality, obviously, but I would want somebody else to win.
Do you think they will recover after what happened in Cologne?
I think Cologne is a great start for everybody else in the scene, because as soon as Vitality lost the first best of 3, we have a chance to get a grip. We have a chance. And it all depends not only on us. Well, on us, I mean all the other teams, but it also depends on Vitality. Maybe they have some little discussions of like, oh, we lost because like we need to be better at this, you know, and then there's some boom turbulence, boom, and then Vitality lose again. Well, but they wouldn't be the best team in the world if they didn't know how to deal with that. So I hope Vitality loses, but small chance.
But you think they're going to win?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, that's going to be going on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Malta, LAN. I don't know. I think there's tickets available for it. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. See if there's a turnout. It's in the middle of the island. It's not in the same place where people were in Malta previously. So we'll see how that kind of functions. But gentlemen, I reckon that's it. I don't know if we want to keep going on about anything else, but I think we've probably done it. Probably done the damn thing. Prof, anything?
Nothing for me. I saw a tweet reporting on potential Zontix moves. I don't know if you saw it.
That'll be fun. That'll be a fun conversation. Actually, we can close it up maybe.
I'm hearing whispers around the scene that the Zontix ideal trade destinations this summer are Tyloo, Lin Vision, Rare Atom, and Steel Helmet. The reason for a sudden desire to play in China remains unclear. This is from Gabriel. He is actually one of our social media guys now. So,
but okay, let's have an honest conversation about like what's the next move for Zontix if the deal goes through.
I can say first of all, his English is really good.
Yeah,
so shouldn't be limited just to Russian speaking teams. Generally, like I would say, he's still a pretty solid, stable anchor player. So
yeah, but what team needs him? I don't think Australia's full Danish, so not there, right? Like Falcons, what?
What about FaZe?
So
no, I don't think Falcons. They don't. Kiosk is all his roles. No way.
Who goes on FaZe to add Zontix? And does Zontix move the needle enough?
Oh, we didn't even talk about the Liege twist thing. Striker. At least twists.
What if FaZe gets Zontix instead of Rain?
Okay.
I don't know if they're gonna ever change Rain at this point, to be honest.
Honestly, Rain is a goat. Honestly, insane guy and insane player. But what this is just speculations of like what can possibly happen, you know. So that trying to throw names here.
Navi, but no, wouldn't make sense. He doesn't need. They don't need him.
Liquid for NAF.
Liquid for NAF's an interesting one.
No.
She's
Why
just
not?
defending your boy, or is there a reason?
Well, I don't think Zontix would come to Liquid. That's what I think.
That's fair.
But I think he would come to Gamer Legion, bro. That's what I. No, I'm sure.
Well,
I'm
he
sure.
might not have too many choice. Gamer Legion for what? Torsen?
No, but honestly, like, where would he go? No Mongols, no Astralis. Maus?
Probably not VP. They just got Perfecto.
Maus.
Maus, no. He plays Spinks position. Spinks is playing really good, really good. Alex, and then Navi instead of who? Instead of Bit? No. If I am, no.
I think for him it's kind of like Magic's a good like 5 months on the bench until the Starlighter Major and something being shaken up.
Fuck, is he going for my seat in FURIA?
Dude, I don't think the
honestly, instead of Tessus, bro, like.
Yeah, that's why I said like Falcons, right? But
yeah, could work maybe.
Tessus has had to take some of that.
I like Tessus. I think Tessus is playing really good in Falcons.
Yeah, well,
yeah, same.
And based off Nico's stream the other day, he's going to start in-game leading next year anyway. So,
so instead of kicks, and that's what you're saying. That's
yeah. We get a long time before that happens, though.
We don't know that. You don't know that.
Wait, so the guy in
it might as well be 2 months from now.
The guy in chat is saying minus Tessus plus Nico IGL. So that means there's going to be kicks and Nico is going to be IGLing, and then minus Tessus and Zontix is going to go instead of Tessus. That's the guy from chat. Boydson17 is saying.
It could be right.
Why keep kicks on in that case?
Yeah, you can ask Boydson17. He's still. I think he's still in chat.
Fair enough.
All right, let's close it down. YEKINDAR, is there anything that you want to say to the lovely people at home?
Oh, I love everybody. Thank you everybody for supporting. There's been a YEKINDAR redemption arc, which I'm happy people have witnessed it. But now, from now on, we're going downhill after the loss against Liquid. We're coming back. We're coming back to the slump. No, I'm joking. Thank you everybody for supporting. Oh, I was looking to the left because I usually have the camera on the left. But thank you everybody for supporting, and thank you for everybody for watching the games and watching CS grow and staying in this community and being a part of it. So thank you everybody. I love my team. I love all of you guys. I love the fans. I love everybody.
Awesome. And that's a nice note to leave it on this evening. Thanks to Anthros. Thanks to Skinionaire. Thanks to everybody for tuning in to HLTV Confirmed. Thanks to YEKINDAR. Thanks to Prof. Thanks to Striker. Thanks to Lucas. Good night.
Sell in-game items at the best prices in just a couple of clicks. We are the biggest instant sell service for in-game items like Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, and Rust. Easy selling process and instant withdrawal of funds to the most popular payment methods. More than 140,000 deals and 50,000 active sellers every month. Use promo code HLTV5 and get a 5% bonus on the sale of your skins. Skin Place. Sell items now.
When every move counts, your chair shouldn't hold you back. Top esports players are switching to Anthros for unbeatable support and performance that keeps them in the game longer. Designed to support your unique shape and built with medical-grade components, Anthros is setting a new standard for comfort. Check out the Anthros difference today and get ready to fix your sit, because gaming deserves more than just a chair.